All right, give me a few moments, and I'm gonna make some coffee and set some things up. I'm sorry. I've had those who are gonna like watch and rewatch this. Going to make some coffee real quick, and then I'll just start this. No harm done. Most of the active chatters are in on Twitch, but you can't really change that, right? So it seems like we're just gonna do YouTube. Hopefully, hopefully they figure out what the hell's going on with Twitch. Yeah. Just a few more minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and start. F it. Ain't nothing I can do now, but let's just bring out the content. If anyone wants to watch it, it's gonna be on YouTube and Trovo and Facebook because they're acting right. They act right. Let's see. Oh, no, he's fine. All right, let's get this thing started. All right, what's going on, guys? What's up, y'all? For the few people who are watching now.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
But the choice between the blue and the red pill is not really a choice between illusion and reality. Of course, Matrix is a machine for fictions, but these are fictions which already structure our reality. If you take away from our reality the symbolic fictions that regulate it, you lose reality itself. I want a third pill.
Jesus Christ, dude. As DJ just stated, he wants the third pill. Welcome, guys. I'm your host, DXG, and this is the Political Black Pill Chapter 9. Right? We're on 9. Jesus Christ. We're on fucking 9.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. So this is called I Like My Boebert Green. Basically, we're going to take a look into the new age of conservatism. That being said, if you stumbled your way upon here, and hopefully Twitch, the Twitch stream is back up. If not, oh well, we're just going to keep going. And those, actually check out the YouTube channel. This is a treat for you guys. So I appreciate all you guys, that, tune in, like, do what you got to do. I'm not even going to say all of it. You guys know the call to the action here. So all of you here, and for those also who like what I'm doing here and want to support your boy, go ahead and do so. Anyways, today's agenda, right? We're going to be looking into two political Congress people, right? And those are Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then we're just going to look at random reactionary videos of the stupid shit that they say every day. You can get that at any time. No, let's take a little bit deeper dive into the overall psychology of these two. First will be Boebert. Look at just skim her wiki, her page, and just try to see if we can get an overall view of what the pieces that makes her whole, the reasoning for her to be where she's at now. And also we're gonna look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, go through the same thing, wiki, positions, look at their Twitters, and just to see if we can analyze a little bit deeper into these people, because from my perspective, these people represent a new age of conservatism, a new right? And new in a sense of its presence, not new in a sense that it never's been here, right? It's always been in the zeitgeist of political discourse. So, and before we get into the chapter itself, we're gonna do warm ups. It's just gotta warm up. And gigantic news today. Basically, with Joe Biden announcing that the student loan debt forgiveness has got all the social media, all of the internet into a frenzy. And this is, for me, my perspective, a rare W in the case, right? In the case of the Brandon administration. For those of you who are going to watch this later or watching it now, this podcast, I keep saying podcast, this show, I guess is podcast formulated. I'm sitting here talking to you. We shoot the shit. We do what we got to do here. This show is interactive, so if you ever wanted to interact with the topics being discussed at hand, react on the fly, what's your name and video, I guess, content history, you should do so. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's see what we got here. Let's play some ass music. Let's switch this to what we need to do. Man, hopefully Twitch gets back up, because most stuff I need to do. I almost forgot. Oh my God, I almost forgot. I need to start doing this more often. Before we get started, before we get a warm up, a lot of people may ask, well, what is the political black pill, right? What is this thing that you're doing? What is this show that you're creating, right? Is this like a place for like people to be like accelerationists, nihilists, and people who frankly need a place to, or an echo chamber to to give off of why, give off their feelings or tell why they feel the way that they do with this political process and what's going on around them, thus leading them to be like sedentary in the whole political activism. Okay. And that could be further from the truth for what I'm trying to construct here. So what is the political black pill? And I need to set up a bot that tells this to people too in a more concise manner. But since we're here, why black pill? Lord have mercy. Shut up. Due to the inevitable outcomes of this socially parasitic, hyper-capitalistic system ruled by the malignant narcissist elite, we have no choice than to be fatalistic when the news and political developments of the world. The political black pill is not a nihilist philosophy. I am redefining it to be a more pessimistic because we haven't changed at the speed necessary, and now the planet is fighting back against us. We are optimistic of the select few people out there fighting back and or have the potential to. You see, this current political system and the media pundits, whether independent or mainstream, love it when you bend the knee. We say don't do it. You're free to vote or not. You're free to be active or not. This is not a philosophy against activism, unless your criticism is to maintain the status quo and or repackage fascism. You're probably going to get cooked for that. So, and also you see that I place things in chapters. Well, why the chapters? The chapter is to organize the show for various topics being discussed and or revisited it. Also, the show, like I said before, the show is set up to be interactive to you guys. So forgive me the time that we may go off topic or ramble a bit. So pull up your lawn chair and watch the cars crash with us. This is the political black pill. I'm gonna keep reading that. So that definition is always gonna it's gonna transform or change in its entirety. It's not gonna be like set in stone, right? Because we're going to get to the point where we keep saying this over and over again, but this is the beginning. So anyone who wants to know what the political black pill is, when they click on it later on, then they have somewhere that they can go back to. All right, so let's set things up with some warm-up stuff. Let's talk about the student debt crisis. All right. A second. Hopefully that's not showing on screen. Okay. Something just popped up. I just got an email. No, not doing that. All right. So let's dive into what's got the internet into a frenzy. Let's talk a lot more about what's going on with the, man, the lighting is off, isn't it? Hold on. Let me adjust this lighting real quick. Man, all kinds of I put this chapter off because I was going to do it Tuesday night. But all kinds of fucking things just pop up out of nowhere. When you put the effort into doing things, you're finally set and prepared. Then just random things become awry, and it becomes difficult to do the content that you laid and structured out. I guess it's my fault. I should have done it Tuesday night because Twitch wouldn't be acting up as it is now. But as I stated before, let's talk about the Biden administration student loan debt plan. What that means. Hopefully that fixes some of my lighting issues. Okay, it did a little bit. That's fine. That's cool. Quick. Oh yeah, it did. All right, so sweet. So the Biden administration student loan debt plan. Forgiving debt. $20,000 if you went to college on Pell Grants. I think this is most people. $10,000 if you didn't receive Pell Grants. This is actually pretty good, right? It's a little bit more higher income families who applied for the Pell Grant but didn't receive it, so they have some sort of relief. Forgiveness only applies to those earning less than $125,000. and student loan pause extension one final time. That's the key word there. One final time until December 31st, 2022. Amazing. Well, it's pretty good. I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, it could be better. It could be more. But this is the only carrot that we get. So for now, because, it's an election season. Election cycle going up. So they're going to try their best to galvanize the youth, the young adult, and the current workers of our society to go out and vote for the D side, I guess. If you have undergraduate loans, you can cap repayment at 5% of your monthly income. So it seems like the whole structure of the student loans, it's being changed, right? And this is a good thing. I'm in the belief that we should just get off. The federal government should not even have a loan program. It should just increase the Pell Grant to help cover the costs, and we should have basically free college education. Biden was an advocate for the free community college application, and of course, a lot of people don't agree with this. What the alt text say? Biden, yeah. So yeah, that's just the alt text that was going. Let's see. I'm a fan of that. And of course, the comment section is riddled with people who are just going off about how this is unfair. How we should never look out for the future generations, when in actuality we should. It's basically people praising Biden and stuff going on right now. It's the same back and forth that you're going to see online with people who believe that themselves being entitled to also compensations because they paid off their student loans as well. And I have a position for that. There's a lot of hypocrites too out there. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. All right. Where's that? Now, here's the common talking point before I get into it of things you're going to hear. Things you're going to hear about how this is detrimental to the American people. And then I'm going to try to unpack why this is an asinine reasoning and why people shouldn't. And how kind of this is asinine reasoning to basically withhold a help, a leg up to our future generations. The same people who are going to be out there working their ass off to make sure that Social Security stays afloat. All right, let's see. And it's notable that Fox News lines Biden student loan debt relief is a subject of selfishness.
Those who are saying it's not fair, look, the aim of this is really to address the effects of the pandemic. It's my responsibility to make sure that people are not coming out of the pandemic worse off than they were at the beginning.
But to the fairness question, the people that are sitting at home,
right,
having just paid off their student loans or having paid them off years ago, what's in it for them?
Right. Well, look, when we address some of the issues that could lead to default payments or default borrowers in the future, that affects everyone. We should be proud that we're able to help Americans that need help right now, just like we help businesses, small businesses during the pandemic. It's about making sure we're taking care of Americans and investing in our economy and in our people.
But just the final one on this,
sure,
the people that already paid their student loans,
right,
they don't get anything out of this deal.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
Those who are saying it's not fair, look,
because not every bill or every executive action is designed to help everyone, and that's just the nature of this system as a whole. Remember when the tax credits, with the Trump tax cuts were introduced, they didn't help any of the poorest society of Americans. They didn't help most of Americans at all. They only helped most of the most rich Americans in this country. So now these same people who didn't say a peep about this new tax plan, which also increases taxes on the lower half of Americans, stating that they don't pay their fair share, even though they do contribute to the taxes from their income. No, now that it's now we're reformulating and trying to help out the very few that individuals who are having difficulty getting a leg up in society, who are actually the workers of this society, who are the newer workforce of this society, and so toggle the, like, I don't even think that this would have happened if we didn't have the pandemic in the first place. This plan to relieve student loans, because the income, the current recession that we're facing, I believe to be the recession, the higher and higher the cost of goods increasing, and the stagnation of our wages, it just becomes more and more difficult for a person fresh out of college or have been in college years ago to pay off the necessary bills and all the standard living cost that's associated with just existing in this country. So it just becomes a equation for disaster, right? Because not only did you have to deal with all the shutdowns and lockdowns and the of the pandemic, which led to economic harsh times, you also have to couple that with the debt that's unforgivable that you have to take to your grave. So how are you supposed to have a leg up in society? And I don't want to hear stimulus, because that they really didn't do as much as they necessarily need to do, because those stimuluses just covered the needs, the basic needs, and wasn't that much. But large corporations, they got away with it. They got exactly what they wanted, and not a peep from these same people who were calling this selfish. So you got to take that into account. Like most of these talking points are rooted in selfishness. It's not rooted in like helping those who helping Americans in general. It's always the biggest pushback when money that's accumulated, when money that's distributed to the American people themselves in this manner, it's always it's always met with contention. But when the money becomes for larger businesses or like medium-sized corporations, not a fucking peep from these people, because this is just basically a indication of what's going on in this country via the class war, right? Via the poor, less fortunate versus the ultra wealthy, right? And then those in between are always muckled in what position they should take. So you're gonna see this more and more and more. They're gonna have a fury of talking points and misinformation and misdirection when it comes to this. It's an investment in your future, and hopefully they can restructure our educational system to have our students be more financially literate before they go into college, before their 18th or 21st birthday, before they go into college or whatnot. That's the core issue when it comes to this country. A lot of people claim themselves to be capitalist, free market economics and whatnot, but their kids don't know what the fuck that means. They don't know how to take insurance. They don't know how to look at insurance quotes. They don't know what APR means. They don't know what interest rates. They don't know anything. They don't know how to properly save money. None of these things are taught in school, right? Even if these are quote unquote boring to students, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Now that you push them, because more the older generation pushed them into this higher education, saying that this is the only one of the few ways of unshackling yourself and providing and opening more doors for your future. Now, the students did that, the young adults did that. They come back like, hey, like, you guys never taught me about finance. What the hell am I supposed to do? Like, I took out this loan thinking that this was going to be, helpful for me in my future, and escape poverty as well. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. Well, let's go on to the next thing. But yeah, you're just gonna see the biggest thing that really gets to me, especially with like these people coming out the woodwork saying that this is basically an unforgivable sin in this country, is that most of these bad faith actors, one of the reasons why I started the show in the first place, they are calling the Biden administration out. They're saying that this is just going to basically tackle on more debt into our country. We're never going to recover from this, blah, 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 right? That students, if you take out a loan, that loan shouldn't be forgiven. And then we look back and we think to ourselves, there was a specific loan named PPPP, right? How many P's you want to add in there, don't matter. That in turn, most of these business owners took out And guess what? Those same loans that was from the federal government were forgiven for them. So let me give you an example of a person who did that same thing, right? These hypocrites, it's a bottomless pit of irony, basically, right? So let's look. Watch this. I have a controversial idea about paying off student loan debt. This is from Ben Shapiro. Don't take out debt that you will likely be unable to pay off, and don't ask others to pay off your debts. Well, if you look up Ben Shapiro's name on who received the PPP loan, he took out a loan of $20,000, and his loan was forgiven. Including more. So you say to yourself, all these students that took out debt, which meant this PPP loan probably wasn't forgivable debt. It shows you an example here. But these students that take out debt, they have to take on the burden and responsibility of the loan. And I agree with that. They should, right? But when it's structured to be predatory, then they shouldn't. And you're going to see a lot more of these like bad faith actors on the right that say all these things about how, like, say what Ben Shapiro, to akin to what Ben Shapiro says, and then we find out that they themselves are hypocrites when it comes to the certain topics that they are so strongly for, strongly against when it comes to student loans. Yeah. So yeah, you're just gonna see more and more of that, right? It is crazy. God, I'm so pissed off that Twitch is down. So, like, right now, wow, this really pisses me off. It really pisses me off that it's down so much. Well, hopefully you guys can holler if you hear me. Here we go. All right. Okay. So, in the spirit of chapter 9-ness, I think we just could just basically get into it. But for the long pause, I'm just still pissed off that Twitch is down. But like, man, it just goes to show you like how things are just. It never lines up. It never lines up when you're good and ready, saying, "Hey, let's click the go live button." Well, I forget about you. I'm not just gonna let you two guys down. You guys who prefer YouTube, I'm not gonna let you down. And hopefully we can have more of a discussion over here as well. So let's see. So basically, this chapter 9, is gonna take a small dive into the New American Right, and like I said before, we're gonna talk about the most two predominant figures, but we're still on a warm up. I don't know, what am I doing here? See, look, just all off. Just all off right now, but that's okay. That's okay. It happens, all right? We're still gonna improve the show little by little until the show becomes flawless. That's my goal here. Just become flawless, and just become an entertainment for everybody. So, what's her name? Okay, Laura Loomer. She lost to a conservative, Representative Daniel Webster. And then, in the spirit and fashion of getting into the subject at hand, we're going to look at Laura Loomer in a small examination of what New Age conservatism is. So, let's look at this. She lost her election And then this happened.
We are losing our country because of big tech election interference. And I am pleading with the Republican Party to please start taking this issue seriously. Please. Because the American people deserve representation. And that's why I ran for Congress in 2020. It's why I ran for Congress in 2022. And it's why I'm going to keep fighting for all of you. I'm never going to. We are losing our country because.
So it's not so much that so it's not so much that a Republican did win that, but it's that she lost it. That these people don't know defeat. They can't take L's. And this is another case or a little bit things something we can focus on when it comes to these newer conservative types. They don't like losing. They just can't lose. And they will cry tears, crocodile tears. They will kick and scream. They will cry fraud, fraud, fraud. Everything was stolen from them, right? But even if, because their section hasn't won. Of course, this is also a case on the left sometimes as well. But today we're talking about the right, okay? So just bear with me here. So that's that case there. Looking more into it. See what else we got here. Well, let's say they don't know how to take L's. So in that spirit, let's see a bit more evidence of this.
Shocked the nation. I'm not conceding because I'm a winner, and the reality is our Republican Party is broken to its core. What we have done tonight has really honestly shocked the nation. We have further exposed the corruption within our own feckless, cowardly Republican Party. And that is exactly the reason why, right, I decided to run against a rhino Republican, Daniel Webster. Do nothing, Daniel Webster. Yeah.
So this is the most important part here at the end.
To run against a rhino, right? I decided to run against a rhino Republican, Daniel Webster. Do nothing, Daniel Webster. Yeah.
So now what you're seeing is basically the newer conservative types calling out it's the same thing you see on the left too, like these rhino Republicans in name only, rhinos, right? Now you see these newer conservatives, these far more extremists, these far more erratic and erratic people come out the woodwork because now they feel more and more comfortable I want to say misery, but they feel more and more comfortable coming out spewing their nonsense, and they feel more and more confident in themselves because of what happened a couple years ago. You guys would know about the whole Donald Trump campaign. A major figure who was basically in line and became president to say what the hell he wanted to. And this invigorated a lot of people like a Laura Loomer to come out the woodworks and start campaigning for office, right? But this also led to, during these campaigns, there are these people, they will spew out vile shit. You've already heard racism, bigotry, xenophobia. You've heard it all before. But we have to concentrate on how they react to basically the pushback that they receive, because not all of them are going to succeed, and this is why they can't take L's. They're going to sit there and do the same thing that their predecessor, their worship figure, Donald Trump, just keep brighting up and lighting off. It did when he lost the 2020 election. They're going to kick and scream and shout, scream fraud, 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 until they believe they can have it their way. Well, in that case, in every case, it never is. The current the current election voter system, the dynamic with that is it's actually pretty decent in this country. It's not it's not so much that a person is going to commit fraud or it doesn't happen, but it happens to such a small degree that it's almost unnoticeable. In which these types can point to the smallest indicators of let's say voter fraud or election fraud or whatever, and basically shine a light on that instance and say that, hey, look, since this happens once in every 20 million votes or whatever, that this is always happening, and that's the reason why I lost. Hence why they can't take L's. Hold on, what is this lighting doing to me right now? Let me see, adjust this lighting. Usually we just on the fly, we gotta. Okay. I think I knew what it was doing. It was trying to adjust between warm and cold, warm and normal. All right, because I like warm lighting, I more prefer that because it shines my skin. You know, caramel skin, glowing, glistening. Right. Now, of course, I'm wearing a beanie right now because my bald head is cold. Anyways, there's a bit more with the whole Lauren Loomer situation. And like I said, this just gives us a good indication of what's to come, right? When the newer age conservatives go against their establishment rivals, because these establishment are not as, how do I say, as radical as them. They like to do their things. The older vanguard or the older conservatives, the way that they do things is a bit more subtle, right? And they love to mask their bigotry and subtleness, kind of how Democrats do, right? To the degree in which people can, you can't really claim or title or you can't really label them racist or xenophobe as easily as you can with these newer age conservatives, because they outright go mask off and say what they, say exactly what's on their chest, right? And it's easier to basically watch some of these clowns and be like, well, you literally said some off the wall shit. It's funny, it's hilarious, it's content, it's entertaining, but this is not a type of person that I will want to represent me. And a lot of people in the conservative side see that, right? So this is like the online conservatives trying to get themselves into the mainstream and succeeding in a lot of fronts, but also failing in others. And it's good to see sometimes. It's funny. It's good to see them take L's. But, with a lot of lower loomer L's or LLL, there is W's on their side as well. So, we can, let's do it this way. We can, how do I say this? We can look more into this.
Lauren, do you know how huge we are right now? You went up against a sitting incumbent with a name recognition off the chart.
I know, but a win's a win and a loss is a
You're
loss.
gonna win, but
No.
this is
You
huge.
are our next congresswoman. You are. It is.
I know, but right now we were like literally 100 votes.
I'm not even worried.
You notice this. This is like something important that this is something we should concentrate our focus in. You noticed how the older Republicans, the older conservatives, they know like, hey, this person has already been established. This person is someone that the older voting base can look to and understand the messaging from these Republicans and these conservatives, right? They know the methodology that the person that was in that position before, or in that seat, they're comfortable with them, right? But someone like Lauren Loomer, who basically goes all mask off and basically tells it how it is in terms of the new age conservative sense, that can't happen. And in comes a younger conservative, a newer age conservative, saying disregard these rhinos, disregard these people who want to play party politics and want to mask their bigotry. No, you are what we want in the society. But here's the thing: if this continues, a person like Lauren Boebert would win, right? If this continues forward, let's give it a time scale. You can give it, I would say, about 14 more years, right? 14 more years, and then the younger conservatives, the new age, I'm sorry, okay, I stammered a bit because this is how I rambled off. So what I'm trying to say is, given about 14 years plus, this is just a speculation. You don't have to write this number in stone and come back to me. The younger generation who identifies with this new age conservative ideology are going to become more established economically. And with that, they are more comfortable with their outward bigotry and more comfortable with their methods and more comfortable with the candidates that identify more closely with them, i.e. a Laura Loomer, Lauren Boebert, a Margie Taylor Greene, a Matt Gaetz, a little bit more of in the younger spectrum in terms of the conservative Congress people that the likelihood, the percentage of likelihood that Laura Loomer would win is higher. So given about 14 more years, unless something happens to her and she becomes the new Rhino, because that what happens every time. Because in these stages, when a certain positions that a party tends to take on, certain positions and policies of how they view the country. When a newer one comes to take its place, usually there's like an overtake, especially on the Republican side. It really doesn't happen as much in the Democratic side until like now, basically. You'll see this. It's interesting because a lot of people, they can see it clearly on the left, but for some reason it seems like there's a veil when it comes to seeing this on the right, the divides on the right and left, because there is divides on the right. The only thing that unifies them much more is that how they message their positions, right? Not so much of what their positions are and their policies are. On the left, it's a fight between someone who fight between universal free healthcare and or basically a buy-in option. That's like the fight. And also, how do you message that? On the right is like, how far do we want to amplify our message? Do we want to go full mask off? Well, you guys are not doing it. You guys are not going as hard as you should. But we will say all the fucking crazy anti-Semitic dribble or racist dribble or bigoted dribble against our opponents and against our own constituents. So with that, we could take that further and escalate our positions. You get what I'm saying? And that when divide comes, like, how bigoted are you, and how more willing are you to amplify that message? All right, and that's that. Yeah, there's still more. Okay, just crime, voter fraud, yada yada yada. But yeah, that's just someone that just take a good little what do I say this? A good check to that. And then going back to the student loan thing, that's another bad faith factor. Steven Crowder, Lauder Crowder LLC. All this information is publicly available. Who takes out these loans? Remember, these policies are good for me, but not for thee. We saw this, of course. It's just a game of. You know what? Like, I don't even know what to say about this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's a given. It's a given. But really, nothing's gonna change fundamentally. So yeah, that's another issue, right? Steven Crowder says student loan forgiveness. Oh, this is very, very. There we go. Student loan forgiveness sounds really nice to illegal immigrants, people who with no life experience, bigotry, like I said, people who don't have families yet, and people who use preferred pronouns. It's just a pronoun, dude. If someone wants to be called something, call them that, right? And of course, this picture in mind. Entity way. But that's just a small conversation about the student loan debt. Our warm up about new age conservatism. So we're gonna get into the meat and bones of the matter. Jesus Christ, what happened to it? The meat and bones or tofu and kale of this chapter. One more thing before we get into it. Biden's rebuttal to his rebuttal to this question. You should listen to it. Listen to it.
Mr. President, is this unfair to people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out loans?
Is it fair to people who, in fact, do not own multi-billion-dollar businesses? They see why these guys give them all a tax breaks. Is that fair? What do you think?
What about people who paid their loans, though, struggle to pay their loans, and now others don't have to?
So basically, the question was,
And is this unfair to people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out loans?
Is this unfair for people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out student loans? And here's the thing, and here lines my position with this question. What Biden says, and I'm agreeing with it, is it fair that these multi-billionaire or multi-million people who own these multi-billion-dollar companies receive tax breaks every 4 or 8 years, and they get all the benefits and all the policy influenced them to a greater extent, in a positive sense, right? For them, right? Man, I can't. Messaging. Oh my god. I guess the Twitch thing is still like very like shaky to me for some reason. I don't know why. I gotta shake that off. I'm being transparent with this. Maybe we do some gaming after this as well. Maybe we should game and just take our mind off this BS. Most bills and legislation that's introduced, it's often framed that it's gonna benefit all Americans. This can be further from the case. Most policies, executive actions, executive orders, legislations, bills drafted, oftentimes try to concentrate on a certain sector of Americans. And this is just the same case when it comes to student loan forgiveness, student loan debt forgiveness, right? And a lot of people are now screaming why. But they're a hush mouth they're hush mouth when it comes to like pharmaceutical companies, larger corporations, multi-billion-dollar business owners, large business owners receiving all the benefits. They don't say a word. How is that fair to the people who don't own businesses? How is it that you get a PPP loan of $71,000 and that's immediately forgiven, and you get a refund for taking out that loan, but the $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus to the normal average Americans is too much money and it's against the economy. You get the tit for tat here. You get what they're doing here. You get how it's always framed in the negative when it becomes to the common folk in this country, or the hardworking people in this country. Even people who make about 6 figures or the lower end of 6 figures, they're gonna lose out. But when it comes to people who making like 7 figures and above, well, now we have to label them as geniuses because they're having an extra zero in their name and they receive all the benefits of that. Well, why? But because you understand the tit for tat that's going on here. All right, let us continue. Okay, but that's it. I think that's it for the warm up. Let's leave it at that for the warm up. Unless my notes say otherwise. I'm so pissed off at Twitch right now. Bro, I'm so pissed off at Twitch right now. I'm so pissed off at Twitch right now. Hope you guys like the thumbnails. Well, the thumbnail. Let's see. It's crazy how like Twitch is up for like the largest creators, but not for anybody else, huh? Thank God I waited to see. Yeah, so it seems like it's an ongoing Twitch issue. Oh well. Isn't that crazy? You get things set up and like there's always something that goes on. It never ceases to amaze me, like how you're always good and prepared and like always like yeah, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be nice and smooth, and then bam, you get hit with the BS. 'Tis the state of this this life, right? Anyways, let's continue forward to the meat and potatoes. So let's talk about Lauren Boebert. Now, the reason, like I already told you, the reason why we're looking a little bit more into these two, because we have to understand the new age conservatism. We have to try to define who these people are, in a sense of, you know, their history, their positions, their policy, the way that they interact with social media. And in that way, we can take that small sample and kind of like understand, and we can paint with a larger, broader brush of what these type of people are. The Laura Loomers, the Lauren Boeberts, the Marjorie Taylor Greens. This is going to be a little bit more female centric, because these women are a little bit more in the public square, you know, so they can get publicly scrutinized. I as well. So if you have anything else that you want to add on, anything you want to say about it, you know, about them, feel free to as well. This is not to sit here and dog them and shit on them. This whole entire chapter. No. This is more of like a case study, understanding these people, you know. So we're gonna go over some things that maybe not as how do I say this, as that spicy as other streamers like to do, right? They just like to hit you with the headlines of spice, but not this type of content. That's why you should you know, do what you got to do. Like, follow, subscribe, blah blah blah. Like that. I didn't mean to see. Would you even know that her middle name is Opa? Jesus. Would you even knew her middle name was Opa? And her last name is actually Roberts. Isn't that crazy? See? All right, Miss Opa. Just this is exactly why I love doing this. You learn things that you never know of. Okay, she's an American politician, businesswoman, guns rights activist, a member of the Republican Party. She serves as a U.S. representative for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. Born in Florida, to parents who moved to Colorado when she was 12. So, parents basically born in a kind of purplish state and then decided to move on to a bluer state. When she was, Boebert dropped out of high school and after a few years started working for a drilling company where she met her husband. Together they founded Shooter's Grill, a restaurant in Rifle, Colorado, where staff members were encouraged to openly carry firearms. This is things that you know. Boebert is known for her guns rights advocacy, and particularly after confrontation with Beto O'Rourke over the policy of the semi-automatic rifles. She launched a campaign for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District in the 2020 election. Boebert unexpectedly defeated incumbent Representative Scott Tinton. Now, just like how we looked at previously with Laura Loomer, we can see that this has been going on the right just as much as it's going on the left. These are newer age conservatives. These are newer people who identify themselves with conservative positions, and they want to take over with the already dinosaur, let's say establishment Republicans. Same thing is happening on the left too, but it's happening more and more on the right, at least from my understanding right now. Maybe some data can be. Some data to the contrary can show me, and I'll switch my positions. Here's the thing. I'm just trying to be closer and closer to the facts than I am trying to be sensational. But sensationalism is kind of fun too. All right. So, in Congress, Boebert associated herself with the Conservative Republican Study Committee, the right-wing Freedom Caucus, on which she became the communications chair in January 2022, and the pro-gun Second Amendment Caucus. She has declared her candidacy for re-election in 2022. We starting to see a trend here, right? And why we kind of focus on her. And is the current Republican nominee for the Republican-leaning seat. Boebert is often described as a far-right ally of former President Donald Trump, although she rejects this term. Isn't that interesting? When we look at her Twitter page, we can see that it's completely true. The statement here. And that basically she lies. She worships the feet and ground that Donald Trump walks on. She has faced calls for House censure over her offensive remarks, including some directed at U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar. We know about this drama. We don't have to elaborate too much on it. Boebert supports Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen from him and voted to overturn its result in the Electoral College vote count. So, the people, her constituents, let's see something real quick. So, her constituents in her state voted for Joe Biden. So, what she was saying is that none of those votes count because those people don't represent me. But as a native to Colorado, you voted for Joe Biden, so that should be something that you all come to consensus that it turns out that a larger majority decided to vote for Joe Biden, and that we should follow that line of democracy and allow those votes to be heard. If it's contrary to her position, she outright denies it. And this is going to be something similar that happens more and more, and it's going to happen more and more on this side. All right, Boebert opposed mask and vaccine mandates and posted misinformation related to face masks and COVID-19 vaccines. Some academic and journalist sources have also investigated her ties to far-right extremism. She opposes transitioning to green energy, abortion, sex education, sexual reassignment surgeries for minors, and non-heterosexual marriages. She advocates for isolationist foreign policy, though with her closer ties with Israel for religious reasons, and minimalizing immigration to the United States. A self-described born-again Christian, which means is an experience, the new birth is a phrase, particularly in evangelicalism, that refers to a spiritual rebirth or a regeneration of the human spirit. You guys know that. Boebert has said that she is tired of the separation of church and state junk and argued that the church should have a bigger role in the government decision-making. Here's when lies what makes certain people like her, the individuals like her, the newer age conservatives like her dangerous, because they're redefining what it means to be a Christian in this country, and especially a Christian who decides that the government has its role and the church has their role. But those who want to marry it and become nationalists and Christian nationalists, they're trying to tie a theocratic approach to governing, which oftentimes leads to chaos. I'm just going to outright say it just leads to chaos. Like none of this could be healthy or further help this country than tying in the church to it. And also, another reason is because tying things into the church, you can be way more selective of what your beliefs are in terms of what they do when it comes to advocating for Christian beliefs. And also it's confusing in a sort because are you a fundamentalist, are you Orthodox, or like what are we looking at here? Early life and education. Remember, she was born in Florida. Boebert was born in Altamont Springs, Florida, on December 19th, 1986. When she was 12, she and her family moved to Montebello neighborhood of Denver and later O'Rourke, Colorado, before settling in Rifle, Colorado in 2003. Boebert has said that her family depended on welfare when she was growing up. She dropped out of high school during her senior year when she had a baby in 2004. And earned a GED certification in 2020, a month before her first election primary. Boebert has said that she was raised in a Democratic household in a liberal area, but records at the Colorado State Secretary office show that her mother was registered in Colorado as a Republican from 2001 to 2013 and as a Democrat from 2015 to 2020. Boebert herself registered to vote in 2006 at age 19 as a Democrat. In 2008, she changed as a Democrat, but in 2008, she changed her affiliation to Republican. I wonder why. And here's the thing too. What year was she married? You guys are starting to see what the pieces I'm trying to, these puzzle pieces that I'm trying to put together of the reflection of these new age conservatives. conservatives. I'm trying to piece together that these people are overall hypocrites, right? That the lifestyle that they live and the privileges that they're afforded and the tools that they receive, they outright, which build the bridge to their current success, they are burning that bridge. They damn be anyone else who comes from their similar background and succeed the way that they do. But they'll definitely use that story to amplify their message as them being a one who got out the rut, right? Themselves. They pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. Well, in actuality, those bootstraps were was sewn and provided by other people. You starting to get a current trend? When did she get married? She got married in 2007, but she had a baby out of wedlock in 2004. Huh, that's not Christian values, is it? Remember, you were a lifelong Republican. Just lie after lie after lie after lie. Oh, 3 or 4 lies are fine. Maybe 10 lies are okay. But the lies just keep piling up. Here's the thing. They don't even have to worry about this because the newer age conservatives, they don't really, from what I've seen, and now I'm getting speculative here, they don't really look too much into a person's past and try to see if they either they transform or evolve into the person they are today due to certain life experiences. No, they basically discount all that. As long as you're a bigot now, that's all that matters. Where an older conservatives, the older vanguard conservatives, they will look into a little bit more in your past. They will see if you were, how do I say this? Well, they will see if you're basically truthful in your evangelism of their positions. I don't know why it keeps doing. Yeah. All right. So, Boebert herself registered in 2008. 2008, she changed her location. And my reasoning why she did that is because the election of Barack Obama, kind of seems like they're iffy when it comes to certain people of a certain melanin. I digress, though, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. After leaving high school, Boebert took a job as an assistant manager at a McDonald's in Rifle. Oh, hey, let's go. All right, let's go. All right. After marrying in 2007, she got a job filing for a natural gas drilling company and then became a pipeliner, a member of the team that builds and maintains pipelines and pump stations. So, most of the time, your career influences the job influences your political positions more than what we give credit to. A lot of people, of course, your parents have a say so in that, and your educational upbringing as well, and certain life experiences kind of draw you into your current political position you have today. We don't really look into like a person's work history too, because a person's work history too can oftentimes tell you, what became of that person's political positions in the future. It doesn't mean that that's the case always, but it's a good variable. It's a good indicator saying, okay, a natural gas drilling company, you're probably around a lot of more people who are conservative leaning, conservative minded, and that influences. And if you're there for a while, that influences your political position over time. The slow poisoning effect that I always talk about. Now, gas station. Now, her restaurant or ownership. Now, this is something that we all know about. We can skim through this a little bit. 2013, Boebert and her husband opened Shooter's Grill Rifle. We know she got a concealed carry permit, and a man was beaten to death by another man's hands outside her restaurant. Began encouraging the restaurant servers to carry guns openly. Her statement about the man is mostly false. In 2013, a man who had reportedly engaged in a fight blocks away ran to within a block of Boebert's restaurant, fell and died from a methamphetamine overdose. Again, another lie. The truth is less entertaining than the lie. The truth doesn't really paint the narrative of what these new age conservative types want to paint. They want all of the benefit, all the social benefits of their struggle, with none of the social outcomes from that struggle. What do I mean by this? Like, you know, they will have a certain life experience. They'll use that tool to basically paint themselves in a better light. But when it comes to scrutiny, they either become silent or they double down. This is why most of them are unapologetic. This is the most important reason why I'm doing this chapter. And this is why we're taking these puzzle pieces and diving into this chapter here. Might not be the juiciest things you hear about it. You know, I can go on to we can go to a long video reaction tangent of the stupid stuff that they say. But what does that do for you? You know, how can you truly understand the other side that you fight against if you don't actually study them? You gotta study thy enemy, you know? Hey, and maybe, just maybe, you might sometimes agree with their positions, and then you might sometimes find yourself agreeing with their positions because they layered it out to be, they fluff it out, right? They euphemize their wording. And then, you know, come to find out that it was all built, their positions were all built upon a lie. And then you realize, oh shit, like this person has been concealing their positions, and they're just saying shit out their ass. Like they're just literally just, you know, just saying whatever they want to say. Let's continue. So the guy who reportedly died in front of her restaurant, she said it was a fight. They said it was a fight going on, and turns out the guy had a meth overdose. Tis be the state of this country, right? The Boeberts also own a restaurant called Smokehouse 1776, now defunct. Didn't know that she owned 2 restaurants, did you? Across the street from Shooter's Grill. Talk about becoming your own fucking rival. Dumb, stupid. You ever open up a business? Don't open up another business of the same type across the street, because you're creating your own competition. You're not succeeding from that, especially if you live in a small country or a small town. That's so dumb. And these are the same people who want to make economic decisions for your county, your state, and your country. Think about that. How stupid that is. All right. In 2015, Boebert opened Putter's restaurant on Rifle Creek Golf Course, which she sold in December 2016. Shooter's Grill, according to her congressional discourse forum, lost about $143,000 in 2019 and $226,000 in 2020. Well, that seems like a problem, especially for a person who's taking a lot of economic positions that are against the common folk of America. You starting to see a trend here? You starting to see how these people are becoming more and more dangerous? Remember, you're a free market capitalist. You believe in the free market in America, but you can't do the things that you see capitalists basically, succeed at doing. In 2017, 80 people who attended a Garfield County fair contracted food poisoning after eating pork sliders from a temporary location set up by Shooter's Grill Smokehouse 1776. The restaurant did not have the required permits to operate the temporary location, and the Garfield County Health Department determined the outbreak was caused by the unsafe food handling at the event. Now, these are the same people who want to deregulate the FDA, tell you not to take vaccines, tell you not to do all this stuff from the recommendations from the experts in this country to do, right? And then they'll serve you disgusting pork, and then your whole family contracts food poisoning, and someone might pass away from diarrhea. Yeah, and that becomes the case. These people have a cult following. Think about that. These people have a cult following. And more people like a Lauren Boebert, and later on when we talk about her, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to see that you are...
You're a victim.
You become the victim of these hypocrites and bigots. You become a victim of it. Now, let's say Donald Trump actually wins 2024, if he runs again. All hell would break loose. All hell would break loose, because they're going to be more emboldened, more hypocritical. They're gonna have more of the podium to spew out their lies. And then you look more into their history and you find out it's all built upon lies. Now, at first when I read this, and I was like, I can't really fault it. Some people mess up, and then you have to take the blame for it because you're the owner of it. Blah 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 blah. Nah, they'll lie about that shit. They probably knew it was probably bad. They probably used old pork and that was like laying in a restaurant freezer forever. or was like laid out and decided to serve it to the same people who voted for them and same people who like advocated for them. Think about that. All right. According to The Guardian, Boebert made a name for herself after loudly protesting against the Democratic state governor, Jared Polis' orders to close businesses in the fight of the coronavirus pandemic. In mid-May 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Boebert violated the state's stay-at-home order by reopening Shooter's Grill for dine-in services, for which she received a cease and desist order from Garfield County, which Boebert refused to comply with. May 2020. The next day, she moved tables outside onto the sidewalks in the parking spaces. The following day, Garfield County suspended her food license. By late May, the state allowing restaurants to reopen at 50% capacity, the county dropped its temporary restraining order. Shooter's Grill closed in July 2022. Did you know that? When the building's new owner opted not to renew the lease. It's just failure after failure after failure after failure. But you don't have to believe me, you know?
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
Right? And people are just going to call me.
You are fake news.
They're just going to call me fake news. But guess what? I'm trying to show here what the plan is. Who are the hypocrites? Maybe one day the study would be laid on me. Maybe my wiki would be open and someone else would take the torch of this political black pill and do it on me. That'd be dope. All right, let's continue forward. In September 2019, do we have music? I don't know if we have music. Let's try for a second. That seemed inappropriate. All right, so we know about the whole Beto O'Rourke thing, 2020. So let's not get too much into like her primary and whatnot. So Boebert was the organizer in the December 2019 "We Will Not Comply" rally opposing Colorado's red flag law, which allows guns to be taken for people deemed a threat. The American Patriots 3% militia affiliated with the 3%ers provided security, and members of the Proud Boys attended the rally. On Twitter, Boebert has used rhetoric friendly to these 3%ers and posed with the members of the group. She deleted the tweet with the photos after being asked about it during her congressional campaign. She said, with the militia. Let's see this real quick. So let's open up this new tab. Look into this. Let's look into this.
Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is cozy with militia types, and
fair use notice.
Right. She loves her insurrectionist rhetoric. All that's getting some fresh attention. Steger.
This weekend, a judge unsealed an arrest warrant for a Colorado militia member accused of storming the Capitol and assaulting a federal officer. The FBI identified Robert Gieswein as apparently affiliated with the 3%ers, a militia group which advocates resistance to government policy.
Now, remember, they can advocate for government, they can resist government policies, procedures, legislations, but when people do it on the left, it becomes communism, it becomes tyranny, it becomes socialism, or whatever marker that doesn't make them feel comfortable or that doesn't boost or influence them. You start to see the trend here when it comes to these New Age conservatives. They can do whatever they want, but everyone else has to bend the knee to them, right? Unless you're bending the knee for Black lives being, brutalized by police, then that's an issue too. You get where I'm going here? You should get where I'm going here, right? Hey, do you know their plan?
It doesn't matter who we are.
Do you know their plan?
What matters is our plan.
Gieswein also ran his own paramilitary group called the Woodland Wild Dogs. As we searched for information about him this weekend, one reporter from the Daily Beast found this photo on his now deleted Facebook page. It shows Gieswein and others posing in front of Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's Shooters Bar in Rifle.
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that, they're associated with her. Maybe they like the grill. These are gun worshiping, toting advocates in the public space where literally an open Western style shootout could have happened. It's been closed now, so I'm guessing that sector of the of Colorado is safe. Think about this: like, piss any one of these people off, and they'll end your life. And then what?
Flashing the hand signal associated with the 3% movement. It was posted in November of 2018. A year later, in December of 2019, as she ran for Congress, Boebert posed for this photo near the state capitol at a rally against the red flag law. Some men in the photo are flashing that same 3% hand signal. Months later, in 2020,
you see the outward hypocrisy and lies, but it doesn't matter. That's the one fundamental message I want to get when it comes to these bigoted people, these newer age conservatives on the right. None of this stuff matters. If it could be washed away, it could be forgotten. As long as your position and your messaging is bigotry, outright unmasked bigotry, then you're safe. You're who we want to represent us, because you're willing to skirt the history. You're willing to to destroy history. You're willing to discount all the things that you've done in the past. To refine your position and their group.
She tweeted, quote, "I am the militia," with the hashtag 2A, referencing the Second Amendment. And on January 6th, the day of the insurrection, Boebert tweeted, "Today is 1776, a mantra heard by some storming the Capitol."
Anybody in a lead?
So, and now we get into more of what is transpiring. Those who are associating with people who are a part of a militia group. Now let's say, let's read the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, they themselves believe to be a well-regulated militia. Outright, they become, we're not really doing much into the 3%ers, but you get what I'm going to. Like, these are militia groups who are armed, and they could also be dangerous. Anyways, during her campaign, she criticized AOC and other members of the squad, positioning herself as a conservative alternative to the progressive representative. Seth Mask, a political science professor at the University of Denver, suggested that Boebert wanted to motivate Republican voters to participate in the primary during a slow election cycle by stirring up their anger at AOC and others. Now, this is how they drum up support. They don't really drum up support in terms of having a policy, and we can look into this when we look into our website, having a particular policies that benefits them. No, it's all about the social war. It's all about the cultural war. It's all about what I can socially, the anger and frustration I can drum up, find a boogeyman figure, and have my constituents basically blame all of the shortcomings of this of our society on them. Again, this is a common tactic when it comes to the people on the right. It's just boogeyman tactics. It's boogeyman gameplay, basically. Boebert criticized Tipton's voting record, which she said did not reflect his district. Before the primary, Trump endorsed Tipton, but Boebert characterized him as unsupportive of Trump. She also accused the incumbent of supporting amnesty for undocumented immigrants by voting for H.R. 5038 of 2019, the Farmers Worker Modernization Act, saying that the act has provision that led to the citizenships and providing funding for housing for undocumented farm workers. Here's the thing: they love using undocumented immigrants for their so they can exploit to the furthest degree for their restaurants, for their farms and whatnot. But when it comes to policy that allows these people who've basically worked and paid into the system as well to receive a pathway to citizenry, they're completely against it. The reason for that is because they don't want these people they don't want to be these same undocumented immigrants where they can pay under the table with an extremely low wages. They don't want them to have I don't want to say legit, a status in which that
regulatory agencies can defend these same people who are working their way to become citizenship, right? Now, they used to pay Pedro like 50 cents an hour. Now, Pedro's become a documented citizen or green card holding citizen. Now they have to pay Pedro the $15 minimum wage, which cuts into their bottom line. This is why they're always against illegal immigration, because they don't want that pathway, because then their companies would be scrutinized and combed through with a fine-tooth comb, and you can see all the disgusting, almost slave-like conditions that these people work in, and most of these people basically are arrested for crimes against humanity, especially how they treat undocumented workers. I digress. So let's skim forward. General election, blah, blah, blah. Tenure and political positions. Okay, let's go into political positions. After being sworn into Congress on January 3rd, 2021, Boebert was assigned to 2 House standing committees, the Committees of Natural Resources, where she served. Now, this is another important thing. This is one thing you should really pay attention to. The committees that these people, they take seat in, because you're going to see what happens as a result of these newer age conservatives taking these higher positions of power, even within their high positions in Congress. After being sworn in Congress, Boebert was assigned 2 House standing committees, the Committee of Natural Resources, where she serves on the Indigenous People of the United States and Water, Ocean, and Wildlife subcommittees, and the Committee on Budget. The United States House Committee on Budget, commonly known as the House Budget Committee, is a standing committee of the United States House of Representatives. Its responsibilities include legislative oversight of the federal budget process. Now, you oftentimes hear now this is important, because what happened to Shooter's Grill? We scroll up and we see, according to congressional disclosure forms, Shooter's Grill lost $143,000 in 2019 and $226,000 in 2020. And this will be another thing too, the energy firm. So this is another thing. It becomes a trend here that they take over positionings. Committee. Oh, good God, Jesus Christ!
Oh, Jesus!
I can't fucking speak. They take on seats in committees in which they have a vested interest to deregulate a lot of regulations a lot of regulatory policies that help certain groups of Americans basically carry on with their lives, right? And the more and more they can deregulate and stifle a lot of progress that these committees put forth into the House, the more and more these corporations who have the vested interest in stifling these committees, these certain pockets of people, you can see indigenous people oftentimes fight against this. The more and more they can enrich themselves, right? They can have more of the land to exploit and more of their resources to themselves. All right. Within the House Republican Conference, she belongs to the Freedom Caucus, widely considered the most conservative bloc of the party, where she's been serving as a communications chair since January 2022, as well as the Republican Study Committee with other conservative Republican groups. Boebert also belongs to the Second Amendment Caucus, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Now we know about the certification. We know about the insurrection. We can skip that. That's for another time. Education. Boebert supports eliminating the U.S. Department of Education. She has named eliminating critical race theory from schools as one of her top legislative priorities, even though it is not taught in schools. During a press conference, she asserts that it was a lie, that it was racist, and that it would lead to children hating each other, which could be further from the truth. Of course, the same person who hasn't went to college, who hasn't completed her K-12 education, not necessarily saying you need to, wants to eliminate the very same Department of Education that everyone else uses. The same body. So what takes this? Here's the thing. Okay, let's take your position. So we eliminated the U.S. Department of Education. What takes its place? What starts taking the place once we basically dismantle public education in this country. What takes place is private institutions become private institutions start taking over. You know, churches start to take over, and then they start building their own education system in which not a lot of people are going to have the same. Not this. How did I say this? I'm going to phrase. I'm just trying to make sure I don't phrase it incorrectly. Not a lot of people are going to have the same level of education as others. I guess I'm just going to be vague. I wanted to be more specific, but this is it. All right, firearms. We know she's for the Second Amendment. Supports for conspiracy theories. Of course, she's an advocate for QAnon. She's embraced QAnon conspiracy theories. Comments are representatives of other religions, environment, foreign policy, COVID-19 policy, fentanyl, separation of church and state. Here's another thing what I'm talking about. An evangelical Christian, Boebert strongly opposes the separation of church and state, saying that the church should guide the government decision-making. In June 2022, Boebert told a church audience the church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. This is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of the separation of church and state junk. It is not in the Constitution. Boebert's office asserted she was not expressing support of Christian theocracy. Experts said her statement is contrary to the Constitution establishment cause. Remember, the founding fathers fought against the notion of church and state being one, because we don't want no more theocratic institutions or churches influencing the governments to basically continue to enrich themselves. It's a long, drawn out history of what happens when churches get involved with governments. And I implore you to look that up. Maybe we'll have a political black pill chapter on that too. Maybe be as dry. All right, and when you looked at, we already looked at her past history, now her election cycle. And so this is how she won. She won against the Scott Tipton, an incumbent, 2020. So she's won Republican, blah, blah, blah. Now 2022. Now, I think she won. She won her primary. Yeah, she won her primary in the incumbents. Look at that. Against Dan Corbin. Yeah, congratulations. She has a more, and the reason for this. Where are we at? Okay. Hold on, give me a second real quick. This is starting to act up. See, I had everything lined up. You see how flowy it was? You see what I knew exactly what to click? All right. So, that is Lauren Boebert. Well, that's just a small dive into Lauren Boebert, okay? That's just showing a little bit of her history, her positions, her hypocritical positions, and all that in the sort. So take it with that information as you will. If someone tries to challenge you about Boebert's current positions, you could just go back and say, hey, I watched chapter 9. The political black pill stream show it. No. It clearly showed here that all this stuff she says was an outright lie. Her fabricated character is just that, fabricated. Right? It's only what's good for the moment. Here's the thing too, like people like Boebert, they burn very brightly, right? Especially when they take political office. They burn very, very brightly initially, but that fire goes out real quick. The fervor that she's cultivated from the fervor that she's cultivated from the right, it's gonna die down very, very quick. And it only takes only a few things for that to happen. And one of those things is any position against Trump. If Trump wanted to, let's say, if Trump disagreed with her or told, or just dismissed her, or, had his use with her politically, then, and throw her away, she would not see this limelight as much as she see now. That's all it takes. So let's see a bit more about her website. How y'all think? Dry, right? Ah. Yeah, we're already 1 hour and 37 minutes in it. Thank you, Twitch, for being down when I needed you the most. Oh, look, we're actually live on Twitch now. When did that start happening? All right, guys, we're live on we're live on Twitch now. Yeah, they finally fixed their issue. Oh, it's a little bit too late. We're pretty much deep into this right now. All right. All right. Now, be right back. All right. We're back. We're back. Oh, yeah. And then we can move on. Let's see our website a bit. Issues. And then we can do, what you call it? We will move on to green. Yeah, green. Fun, fun, fun. Man, you now do stuff? You now do stuff, Twitch? Let's get this back up. Maybe there'll be gaming tonight. Depends how I feel. All right. Sorry for that slight intermission. Let's get back to it. Now let's look at our website. Actually, I'm starting to like this better. This is much better because you can see me better. And plus, we're less likely to get hit with a copyright claim. Hopefully, right? Anyways, I think I was reading not too far ago about her jobs, right? And I was trying to read the policies in her website and see what's going on. To me, it just seemed like a whole bunch of fluff. See, look, economic strength, and this is just a positioning on this is Lauren Boebert's website. This is from the source itself, so you can't be like, oh, you just made that up. Like, oh, that's not what it says. But you just read the wiki. No, we're going into the page. Anyways, economic strength and growth. Job growth results from policies that unshackle job creators. Allow American ingenuity, and provide certainty. I stand for slashing job-killing regulations, reducing taxes for the middle class, and keeping small businesses open. Okay, but what does that look like? After years of crashing and down, the best economic is a job. After years of crashing shutdowns, shortages, inflation, and failed democratic policies, our economy needs to get back on its feet. The best economic stimulus is a job, and the best drivers for success are small businesses. I support reducing burdensome government mandates that defy common sense and result in more paperwork. What does that mean? Let's elaborate on what that means. What specific policy? What specific regulation? Like where do we need to concentrate and focus on? To get your policies. To do what you say is going to be done. Ugh. Unfortunately, the Biden regime, do not understand these conflicts. Well, you had it with the Trump regime, and what happened with that? Americans decimated our bank accounts. Blah. I oppose Biden's tax increase, and I fought allow families to keep more of their hard-earned money under Biden's disaster. Okay, but what are you introducing? What are you writing? Okay, all right. Okay, so here's something. We need fewer taxes, fewer overreaching regulations, less bureaucratic red tape, and more freedom for the American economic engine to lift more people into prosperity. What? How? How is the biggest question here? How are you going to get this done? What specifically do we need to focus? Do you want to provide more loans? Smaller interest rates to businesses or smaller businesses or startup businesses? Do you want to start up a grant? Like, how are you going to, the same people are going to say, like, okay, when Democrats propose the legislation, oftentimes they propose, like, how they're going to pay for it. When Republicans do it, well, they never do it. They just complain about, like, what they're going to do and never actually do it. You see the facade that's happening here. This cultural war bullshit. Like, Biden this, Biden that, Biden that. Okay, cool. We get it. You don't like Biden. How are you going to do these things you say? We need fewer taxes. That's just basic standard. Like, what do you mean? In tax code, like, we need fewer taxes. On who? For who? Poor Americans? Wealthier Americans? Who are we talking about here? When Biden unilaterally locked up federal lands and threatened Colorado's energy jobs, I introduced, okay, here we go, the Protecting American Energy Jobs Act to stop his attack on energy workers. Okay. So let's look at that. Look away. Okay, Biden. Okay, Biden's energy are killing our economy, hurting family. Okay, Colorado lost 9,000 jobs in oil and natural gas industry these past years. Economists project. Okay, so the loss in jobs. Okay, so now you have a problem. So what's your solution? Laws aren't coming back. Okay, Westerners. 2 decades. Okay, Biden again. Okay, here we go. Well, change all that by nullifying Biden's job-killing energy executive actions by ensuring executive order, blah, 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 has no force or effect. Prohibiting future unilateral energy and mineral moratoriums by presidents on federal lands in the federal waters and requires congressional approval for actions that prohibit or delay lease and permits for oil and gas, coal and hard rock and critical minerals. So basically allowing a slippery road for these companies to basically destroy your land, and so they can enrich themselves. Especially, we saw if we keep using these antiquated and old methods to produce our energy, they just want to keep going with that. So it's just an establishment. It just seems like you just want to return to these or keep the establishment and how things are. Nullifying the indefinite ban for new oil and gas leases on federal lands and on federal waters. I thought you cared about the. Remember, she's on the. Okay. Remember what committee she's on? Oh, shit, I just deleted that video. Fuck. Remember what committee she's on? Remember what committee she's on? Let's look. Yeah. Campaign. Don't care. We read that. Campaign. Where's the committees at? It's somewhere right here. Give me a second. Bear with me here, okay? Lord have mercy. There we go. She's in the Committee of Natural Resources. Committee of Natural originally claimed Committee of Interior and also Affair. She's in the Committee of where she serves on the Indigenous People United States Committee. one of the 5 subcommittees within the House Natural Resource Committee, the Water and Ocean and Wildlife subcommittees. You see what I'm talking about here? You see how like she has all these positions and all these seats of power and can use and basically use that position to enrich her donors, her wealthy donors. But then at the same time says that she's trying to protect these same lands and these same water sources and all that other junk. She's behind closed doors are saying that and putting forth legislation to do the exact opposite, right? Huh? If you want to yawn, you can go away. You don't have to be here. You can look at all the how do I say this? You can look at the sensational headline reading streamers all you want. I actually take a deep dive in things. Let's see. Well, take your board ass somewhere else then. Okay. Now that we got that out the way. Yeah, this is not a place where I'm just gonna be like, hey, look at this. Well, let's react to this. Hey, look at this. Let's react to that. That's why it's called a chapter. You don't have to like it. You can go somewhere else. All right. Let's see. What's up, Pork? How you doing? Anyways, all right. So we saw that she serves in these committees that basically are set to protect our lands, our federal lands, the land of this country. Well, and then at the same time, she's supposed to take that seat to protect these lands. But in actuality, she's taking these committees, these seats in these committees to do the exact opposite, to allow these oil, gas companies and these energy companies to use these federal lands any which way that they want, right? To use the antiquated and old energy to basically enrich these corporations. Again, a common trend from what we saw from her history, that all the things that she claims she stands for is the complete opposite or lands in contrary to her positions, her actual positions. Let's see. So blah blah blah, more economy and jobs. So this is her her issues when it comes to the economy and jobs. And then we're not gonna look through every single one of them, because we already know what it's gonna be. All right, so draining the swamp, economy and jobs, education, election integrity. So we asked a question earlier. What is she gonna do with the education? She wants to get rid of the Department of the U.S. Department of Education. Okay, so what do you want in place? What are you looking for? I'm good. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing well as well. Okay, as a long reason for it clears, blah, 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 blah. It's before wedlock, too. We saw that, too. Our current education is in a sad state of affairs. I co-sponsored numerous pieces of legislation to protect our children from critical race theories and woke gender propaganda being taught in our schools. When leftists allowed a man to dominate in women's sports, I stood up for female athletes being left behind. When Biden Department of Justice labeled parents domestic terrorists, never happened, never did. Sensationalized politics that just exacerbate something that's never been there, an issue that's not an issue, a non-issue, basically. I stepped in and demanded accountability. When Democrats introduced funding for woke colleges, what does that mean? I introduced an amendment to prohibit tax dollars for that purpose. So, okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm working to ensure that our rural schools have the same resources as big city schools. How are you going to do that? How are you going to pay for it? Which is why I successfully ensure the full funding of payment in lieu of taxes. PILT. I don't know what that means. That's a weird acronym. Programs were signed into law. The $505 million I secured from the PILT program will help fund rural schools that lose out on property tax revenues due to tax-exempt federal lands in their jurisdictions. Additionally, my active forest management, wildlife prevention, and community protection act includes a provision that requires 25% of all forestry revenues from natural forests to be reinvested in local communities, including their schools. My bill will help revitalize schools in rural communities and ensure they have resources to invest in the next generation. A redistribution of wealth, huh? All right, that's enough about Boebert. that's enough about all the how do I say this? About like the kind of dry stuff when it comes to Boebert, her history and stuff. So we're gonna look at her Twitter account. We're gonna see what she's been advocating for today, to see if she's keeping in line with all her policies and positions, or is it all about the cultural war nonsense? You probably can guess it already. Let's see, hey, if you don't like what I'm doing here, if you feel as if like it's boring or like you're bored and you come to mess with me while I'm doing this, you could just get out. It's that simple. You don't have to be here. The door is always open for you to leave. I welcome dissent. I welcome I don't even say no criticism. I welcome conversations to the contrary of what I'm proposing or positioning. But if that's not the case, you can get out. Don't matter to me. All right, so let's look at her Twitter, and then we can hop on the MTG, wrap this thing up, and then chapter 9 will be in the books. And the next chapter we'll make it a bit more spicy for you guys, okay? Because we'll be on chapter 10, and then we kick it to second gear, and then 20, third gear, 40, fourth gear, fifth gear, and the such. All right. So of course, this is Lauren Boebert's official Twitter page. 1.5 million followers. Wonder how that was before she took office. It's not a phase, it's a movement. Remember what she said earlier. She doesn't do all this stuff for Donald Trump. I should probably make this larger. Or worship at the feet of Donald Trump, when in actuality, that is the case. So let's look at some of her recent tweets and just try to find out where her head is at currently. Is it the fight for wildlife and the indigenous people of America? Is it to find, is it, to keep advocating for education and jobs and economy? Let's see. A judge has blocked the Marine Corps for discharging unvaccinated Marines. Good. Now do the rest of the branches. Okay. Joe Biden should have to report this student debt forgiveness stunt to the FEC, as it's nothing but a scheme to buy votes. Well, she should know all about schemes. What happened to her restaurants? What is she being investigated for, especially how misuse of campaign funds? That's still open in the air. So she should know about that. There is no such thing as debt forgiveness. It's a misdemeanor. That's the national debt. It's about to skyrocket even more. Isn't that funny? There's no such thing as debt forgiveness. There's always been debt forgiveness. That's been a thing since Roman times. Stay in your lane. And of course, I'm not going to get too much into the Twitter replies because, you can get banned. Some of the things people say. So let's not do that. All right, let's continue on. We're just trying to get like a snapshot. Like, we're going to run through all her fucking Twitter. It's so stupid. New York City is going to spend $300 million housing illegals in luxury hotel rooms. Remember what I said earlier about how they're against a pathway to citizenry for undocumented workers or undocumented citizens, undocumented in this country, because that makes them ripe for abuse, ripe for exploitation. And one of the framings of this is that they're going to be given Cadillacs and luxury hotel rooms, which can be different from the contrary. Most of her backers and some of her high profile constituents bank on this on the undocumented workers, and if they can set to exploit themselves and set up how much they want to pay them, like $1 an hour, 30 cents an hour, when they become actual card holding citizens or paper holding citizens or green card holding citizens of this country, that's when the regulations come in, and that's how they lose that sector of society that they exploit to the umpteenth degree. Yes, you read that. $300 million. This is where we send billions. This is as we send billions and billions to Ukraine. What do Americans get in return? A tax hike to help pay for this bull crap. Not really. That's not how things work. And then welcoming Jim Jordan. Who cares? We knew Biden had to be lying about when he said he didn't know about the Trump raid. Now the truth is coming out. Okay? Twitter is now taking to suspending GOP candidates on the day before they appear on the ballot. Okay? And that's most likely not true. So you can just see none of this has have to do with all her positions and any of the policies that she cared about. It's just culture war, culture war, culture war. And wrapping this up about what this is about, the new age conservatism, or the new right, or the alt right, whatever you want to label it as. Nothing that they really claim that they advocated for or they're fighting for. It's always about like what's surface level. And this is becoming more and more of a thing now in social media and in our politics. And it's outright disgusting. It's outright disgusting. It's a waste of time. You really need to tell yourself, like, this is a waste of time. Right? You'll get the slight dopamine hit of like or debating online or harassing other people who have different political positions as you, because you want to say your zinger online. You want to say your zinger, but any questions to the contrary to your talking point that you were given from these bad faith people, you start to crumble. And that's because you haven't taken the time to contextualize your ideas or the ideas that you agree with. And that's oftentimes a lot of people's issues. And these people just come out the woodwork. They believe themselves to be the protagonists in this country and on this planet. And more, they're being challenged on that very same notion. And you'll see this time and time again. And it's not going to go away anytime soon, especially with the system that we is still up to this day for us that we are born into. So, all right. So with that, let's set up the next person. By MTG. And again, if you like what I'm doing here, if you like what I'm doing here, you know what to do. Hit that follow. Hit that subscribe. Right? And if you're feeling zesty, you can also donate too. I think I'm going to do one chapter a week. I might just start doing one chapter a week because until this becomes something that takes off, or we do something else. But I think it's better and healthier for me to have more and more bundled into one chapter, and maybe do like split it into 2 parts for the week, or just have this up. If you don't watch the whole thing, you can watch the whole thing, or watch segments of it, you can watch segments of it. But it takes a lot. I mean, as you can see, the pulling up, like I'm doing, there's research involved, there's videos involved, there's a story to be told, and a message from that whole story, all live, on the fly. Some things are already thought of a little bit beforehand, but then things tend to evolve into a greater message. And that's one of the main reasons why I started this show. I used to do, let's just do like sensationalist streaming stuff where we just talk about headlines and react to like crazy people and ghouls online, which has its place. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but this should have more, this style of introducing information should be more and more advocated for. And plus it allows more viewers to understand what's going on to a greater degree, instead of just whatever the fuck they want to look at. All right. So with that being said, sorry about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, my favorite. Yeah.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Surprise, huh?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Anyways. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene, also known by her initials, MTG. So further on now, I'm just gonna use her fucking initials, man. Holy shit. Oh, why is that? That's interesting. I should fix that. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix that. That's interesting. Oh. Magic the Gathering. Lord have mercy. Magic the Gathering. Okay, that was good. That was good. That was good. That was good. Okay, there we go. All right. Is an American politician, businesswoman, and a far-right conspiracy theorist. We read Lauren Boebert's wiki. It didn't hit hard home with that. She wasn't labeled a far-right conspiracy theorist, but MTG takes the fucking cake, bruv. She takes the fucking cake, right? What do you think, Biden?
You ain't black.
Okay. Anyways. Who served as a U.S. representative for Georgia's 14th congressional district since 2021. A member of the Republican Party and a strong supporter of former President Donald Trump, she was elected to Congress in 2020, following the retirement of Republican incumbent Tom Graves. Green has promoted far-right, white supremacist, and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, including the white genocide conspiracy, QAnon, and Pizzagate, as well as other what the hell? Oh, well, I'm bad. And other conspiracy theories as mass shootings, the Clinton family, and the 9/11 attacks. Before running for Congress, she supported calls to execute prominent Democratic politicians, including two people I can't name with the word execute at the same time before my stream goes down. So let's not do that. HC and BO, okay? As Congresswoman, she equated the Democratic Party with Nazis. Bruh, see, look, it got spicier, didn't it? It went from like kind of a little dryish, Lauren Boebert, to MTG's raging lunacy. And you could see why. You see what I do this, right? You see how it gradually goes up into this ultimate climax. And then we're going to wrap this chapter up with a bow and call this a good fucking stream. Yeah, I like that. And if you like that, you know exactly what to do. Bruh.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank God I said it for the second person. All right. Part of the Nazis and compared the COVID-19 safety measures to the persecution of Jews during the Holocaust. She is just fucking sensationalizing, hyperbolic, and exacerbates all types of issues to the umpteenth degree. She turns that knob past 11, right? Later, apologizing for the latter comparison. I'm sure. In January 2022, Green's personal Twitter account was permanently suspended for posing conspiracy theories about C-19. During the 2022 Russia invasion of Ukraine, Green has promoted Russian propaganda and praised Vladimir Putin, a former Roman Catholic who later converted to evangelicalism. Ooh, I can say that word. She has repeatedly expressed anti-Catholic positions. Green identifies as a Christian nationalist. All right, Christian nationalism is a Christianity-affiliated religious nationalism. Christian nationalists primarily focus in internal politics, such as passing laws that reflects their views of Christianity and its role in political and social life. In countries where church and state Christian nationalism, blah, blah, blah. If you want to look at that, you can look that up yourself. But let me just tell you this. It ain't fucking pretty. All right? It's not fucking pretty. You look it up. You're going to be in awe of the bullshit that you'll see there. And remember, Lauren Boebert, as the common theme here, Lauren Boebert also believed that the church and state should be separated. So what's to say someone like Green, who's even more extreme, you could argue, than Boebert, wouldn't take even a further position and identify with that nationalism as a Christian nationalist, as Boebert likes to kind of mouse her way through, you know? A supporter of Trump's effort to overturn his laws to Joe Biden's 2020 presidential election, Green has repeatedly and falsely claimed that Trump won the election in a landslide victory that was stolen from him. She called for Georgia's election results to be decertified and was among a group of Republican legislators who unsuccessfully challenged votes for Biden during the Electoral College vote count, even though the federal agencies and courts overseeing the election found no evidence of election fraud. Green filed for articles of impeachment against Biden, Brandon, the day after his inauguration, alleging abuse of power. Motherfucker didn't even take office yet, and she's already saying, let's just do articles of impeachment. Fuck it. Just take that shit to overdrive. Who gives a shit? Everything that I say is true. Everything that you say is false. The sky is black. The rivers run red with blood. It's crazy. It's lunacy. I'm not saying that enthusiastically. It's lunacy. Enthusiastically. Anyways, what was it? Something that Georgia's election results, right, to be decertified would ultimately, consequentially, affect her elected position. Well, not. I remember she was elected. Was she elected? Her assumption of office. Let's say it that way. It would ultimately affect, consequentially, her assumption of office. So it would backfire on her because remember she won Georgia's. I think she was on the ballot too, right? I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Oh Jesus!
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppies to come and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for speaking for me. All right. Where are we at? The U.S. House of Representatives voted to remove Green from all committee roles on February 4th, 2021, in response to her extremist statements and endorsements of political violence. 11 Republicans joined the unanimous Democrats in the vote. Green is running for re-election in 2022. Oh, shit.
Holy Jesus!
Oh, shit. It will be held November 8th, 2022. Oh, man. Oh, man. You know we're going to be looking into that. You know for sure we're going to be looking into that. Early life and education. All right, let's get into let's dive in deep more into this person, okay? Just like we did Lauren Boebert, we can see that she basically grew up as a liberal and used the system. Her family used the system to benefit her. In her upbringing, and then she wanted to burn that same bridge. Let's see if MTG was the same case. Green was born, and I don't know how the fuck to say that, Mildeville, Georgia, and they say black people's names are weird. Mildegeville? Fuck you say that? How do you say that out loud and not? You say that. How do you say that? What in the world? Hold on, let's light break. How do you say that?
Milledgeville.
What?
Milledgeville.
Milledgeville?
Milledgeville.
Milledgeville, Georgia. I don't want to hear none of you guys. I don't hear none of you guys talk about people's names after this shit. Yeah, some of these fucking cities and towns and some of these people's last names. Okay. Milledgeville in Georgia, 27th, 1974. The daughter of Robert Taylor, she graduated from South Forest High School? Forsyth? It's Forsyth, right? Or Forsyth? Oh my God. And Cumming. Cummings, Georgia. Is it Cummings or Cummings? It's Cummings. Cummings, Georgia. Oh my God.
Oh Jesus.
In 1992, hey, someone great was born that year. And the University of Georgia with a bachelor's of business administration. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, bachelor's in business administration. Okay.
You are fake news.
Oh, that's not the one I was about to hit. Hold on, this one.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Okay. In a statement made in 2019 and later on February 4th, 2021, in a House floor speech explaining her positions on gun rights and school shootings, Green alluded to being affected by the September 1990 incident at her high school in which an armed student held 53 students hostages for over 5 hours. Wait, what? What's going on here? On September 7th, 1990, Randy Ford. I don't know how to fucking say that name. I don't know how to say that. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be a common theme now. All right, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, back to it. Shotgun enters the school with a rifle, a shotgun, and a semi-automatic pistol. After a teacher wrestled the rifle away from him, he used the pistol to hold many of his classmates hostage. Most of the students were released over the course of the morning. In the early afternoon, Floyd became dizzy and gave himself up, releasing the 5 children. No one was injured. Oh.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Oh, shit. Yo. Bruh. MTG.
You're a victim. There we go, CSI.
You were a victim of this. What? My mind is fucking blown. This is what I'm talking about here. No other streamer is talking about this shit. She have allegedly may be a part of a school shooting, so she should understand exactly what these kids are going through now. But she's taking positions to the contrary because it doesn't line her pockets. You see how quickly these people will throw all their positions out the window, all their life experiences out the windows, but this positioning in which the people who actually rule her and tell her what to do, enrich them and herself. Isn't that crazy? Now you learn something here. Bruh, you know what to do. Right? What do you think, Trump?
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
You should definitely subscribe. You see, even your boy do it, right? Oh, shit. All right. Early career in activism. In 2022, Green's father sold Taylor Commercial in Alpharetta, Georgia. You've been all over Georgia. Based general contracting company that he had founded. The Green and her husband, Perry, the couple are its vice president and president, respectively. Green was listed as the chief financial officer for the Taylor Commercial from 2007 to 2011. But in 2021, Atlanta Journal-Constitution investigations determined that she had no significant presence at the company. In 2011, Green stepped down as the company's CFO and began CrossFit training. Oh, man. Let's look a little bit more into what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. Wait, I want to see that. Mm-mm-mm. 39. Here we go. Businesswoman image key to Marjorie Taylor Greene's rise. All right. Is this a lot? This is a lot. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's just a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I thought this was going to be... Okay, 2007, Green was listed as CFO of the family construction company, Taylor Commercial Incorporated, and corporation registration records filed with Georgia's Secretary of State. Yet for several years, during the time she was presumably helping her husband run the construction company, she spent her days at a gym pursuing her passion for CrossFit training and traveling to participate in national competitions. In 2015, she acknowledged in the internet radio interview that when she opened a gym of her own in 2013, she and her business partner knew nothing about running a business. What's my sound effect? So remember, this same person graduated college with a degree in business administration. But does that translate to a person who's competent enough to actually run a business? No, it translates to a person who's most of the time, well, no. And in Marjorie Taylor Greene's case, MTG's case, it translated to her basically using that as just basically a plaster or a piece of paper hung up, framed on the wall, just to give credence and credit. And we don't have to look into like her grades or nothing, but you're starting to see the pattern here of all these people's lives, right? And while Green has railed against big government, the AJC found that the family's North Fulton construction business profited from years from work on taxpayers subsidized low-income housing. Green declined an interview requested for the story. She did not directly address the written questions to the AJC, good God, sent seeking to clarify her business records and involvement with her family business. She said her father, who founded the company, has been battling cancer in recent months and passed away on April 12th. The nature of your email and its questions shows you have no intent to write anything positive about our company. So, what?
Oh, Jesus.
What you...
Emotional damage.
What the fuck? Okay. What, you think everything written about you is going to be positive? Have you seen the headlines lately and recently? Bruh, on your wiki page, it's almost the third sentence. You're called a fucking conspiracy theorist. Like, nothing of the sort is going to be positive about you. Except those like hyper focused like C words. I can't say it without being penalized for it. They actually think that you're a legitimate person. Charles S. Buck III, a political science professor at the University of Georgia, said Green's emphasizing her business experience and her hardcore conservative values have been a smart political strategy. It was very well calibrated for that district, which is one of the most conservative districts in the nation, he said. She packaged herself very well for the 14th district. Company leadership. Green's congressional web bio is headlined Conservative Businesswoman. It says she grew up working in her family construction company and has a lifetime of business experience. So you have a lifetime of business experience. You really didn't do much on your father's company in the company that your husband held. So, and you took basically time off most of the time to start your own CrossFit thing. Like, look, I'm for health, of course. I'm out for like exercise and all that stuff. But come on now. In her bio, she says her husband purchased Taylor Company Commercial in 2002, and the company has managed construction projects totaling $250 million. Her attorney wrote a letter to her opponent counsel late July outlining Green's position in the company. The letter says she owned a 51% stake since buying the company from her father, and that she's been an active participant in its operation and management. Miss Green has been leading the company as its majority owner since 2002. In a letter which Green tweeted out said, one of her campaigns video last year showed Green and her husband Perry walking around a construction site together. Serving the work, she wears a hard hat, embezzled with a red and white and blue stripes of America, or whatever. He wears a hard hat with the UGA Bulldogs logo. And one of the shots in the couple with her father reviews what looks like construction documents in an office at that company's Alpharetta headquarters. Basically, it just tells that she's just used the imagery, the aesthetics of a person who's will most likely be a conservative who can identify as like a blue-collar worker, and her image was crafted of the sort. But in actuality, she was all that was a farce. She just held these positions. So it seems like what they're alleged is that most of her, she's fabricated. She's being, how do I say this? There's someone else behind. She's a puppet. There's someone else behind the scenes who's allowing Green's who architect Green's presence in our current political system. Isn't that interesting? Because like everything else is pointing to like she really doesn't know what the hell she's doing, but someone is like kind of egging her along, pushing her along. So she's not the mastermind behind her campaign strategies, which most oftentimes you can see that to be the case. But she doesn't really present herself to be, that. Anyways. Blah, early education, green, okay. Where are we at? CrossFit training. 2012. Green was working as a part-time coach at the Alpharetta CrossFit Gym. In August 2013, she co-founded a CrossFit gym, CrossFit Passion in Alpharetta, along with Travis Mayer, a CrossFit athlete, before leaving the business in 2017. And in a 2015 interview, Green said that when she and her mayor founded the gym, They knew little about how to run a business. We read that already. In 2021, Green said that she became politically engaged during the 2016 Republican presidential primaries. Beginning in 2017, she wrote 59 articles as a correspondent for the now defunct Americans Truth Seekers, a conspiracy news website. And beginning in January 2018, 27 articles for Law Enforcement Today, a pro-police fake news website.
No, God! You are fake news.
Damn, hit that button. I need to be quicker with the sound effects. Green visited in 2017. Green visited Washington D.C. in protest against Republican gun control compromise. Now I'm starting to believe, and I didn't even think about this when I was like doing my research, or reading Wikipedia articles, whatever you want to say. That that she it seems like she's just someone's behind the scenes when it comes to her. It really does. Yeah, just think about it. Just like her political positions, like going more into her businesses, she really allegedly didn't really have any influence on it. Everything was just like tailored for her success, She basically didn't take that many L's in comparison to Boebert. Now, Boebert took L's like crazy. Boebert took nothing but L's coming up. It's crazy. I'm surprised Boebert's not a fucking leftist. The way she grew up. Born in Florida, was a registered Democrat, by the way. It wasn't until 2016 that she, changed her affiliate to Republican. No, 2018. 2008, she changed her affiliation to Republican. But she grew up basically poor, on welfare. Family moved a couple times. They moved to a more liberal state in which, they can use the system to their advantage. Not to their advantage. Yeah, use the system to survive. And then, then she just became the crazy nut job that she is today. Basically, failed business after failed business. Shooter's Grill, Putter's Smokehouse, or something like that. Yeah, we just read that, and I forgot a lot of details of it. But you see what I'm saying here. Boebert take L's. Green, on the other hand, she's taking those W's. She's taking those W's. Yeah, I wonder what's going on. I wonder who these people are.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
What's going on with that? All right, let's continue. Green was a top official of the Family American Project, a conservative group founded in January 2018. She was a moderator of the organization's Facebook group, in which members posted death threats against Democrats, bigotry directed to the Obamas, and supported for multiple conspiracy theories, including claims associated with the John Birch Society about the U.S. government being infiltrated by communists. Au contraire. In February 2019, Green visited the U.S. Capitol and the congressional offices. In a live stream video Green posted on Facebook, she is seen outside Representative AOC's office, calling through the mail slot for Ocasio-Cortez to unlock the door and face the American citizens that you serve, as well as telling her to get rid of your diaper. She also called AOC's office a daycare. When visiting what's ironic about that statement? She's calling AOC's office a daycare. She's saying, get rid of your diaper. She's saying, face the American citizens that you serve. But you can see all the things that led up to her and of her political career. It seems like she's being the one taken care of. Maybe I'm tripping here, right? Maybe I'm tripping.
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
Another irony that I'm coming to is that she's labeled extreme conspiracy theorist, which rightfully so. But isn't her whole? It seems like her whole campaign, her whole political, ethos, whatever word you can think of. I mean, I'm using that term wrong. It seems like that's a conspiracy in itself too. Yo, the rabbit hole goes fucking deeper with MTG than I thought. I thought in the beginning that this is just a fucking lunatic that got lucky. No, it seems like all these things were orchestrated for her success, for her to be in the position she is today. Like all things are how do I say this? I don't want to say well researched. Well looked into, right? Research is a bad term. Well looked into, and all her positions are orchestrated for just the insane amount of backlash she gets and the insane amount of attention she gets. We'll see this through her Twitter account. When visiting the offices of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, Green falsely claimed that they were not officials, representatives, because they were sworn in to the Congress on the Quran. In the video, Green said that she wanted Omar and Tlaib to instead be sworn in on the Bible and accused them of supporting Islamic law. Yo, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. I think I meant to do like the record scratch on that, but Jesus, whatever. Primary election. Her having originally announced her intentions to run in Georgia's 7th congressional district, Green instead began her campaign in the 6th district, where she raised on June 4th, 2019. She stated her good God, I can't fucking read. Holy shit. She stated her commitment to balance the federal budget and restrain Congress from using its constitutional power to spend new money into existence, adding, if we look at our country as our household, we're going to go under foreclosure because we're overspending. Green also criticized her expected primary opponent, former Representative Karen Handel, from supporting large omnibus spending bills in a series of electoral losses. She lost 7 races in her entire political career. She steps down from the seats that she does not win so she can campaign for something else. Basically, I will call her a professional campaigner, but she loses. That's what you do. Well, that's what you don't do. On December 13, 2019, Green announced that she was shifting her campaign to the 14th district after incumbent Tom Graves announced he would not run for re-election there. Bruh. Wait. Come on. Yo, you expect MTG to make this type of political move? This political shift in districts of what she's gonna run for, Brett. All right. Look,
surprise, motherfucker.
There has to be someone else behind the scenes. There has to be some sort of political fucking genius behind her campaign. There is no way. What do you think, Trump?
You are fake news.
All right, I'll stop making fun of your girl. Biden?
You ain't black.
Okay. It seems like I don't have no one's help here. All right. Now, she was shifting to the 14th district after incumbent Tom Graves announced he was would not run for re-election there. The districts include much of northwest Georgia, stretching from Georgia's side to the Chattanooga metropolitan area and exurbs of Atlanta. Members of the House are constitutionally required to live in the state they represent, but not necessarily in the same congressional district. Hence, although Green had long lived in Milton in the 6th district, there would have been no legal barrier to Green running for the 14th. Still, she said she intended to move to the 14th if she ran there. She She didn't. Oh my God, we are 2.5 hours in, so forgive me. She bought a home in nearby Paulding County, which is in the 14th. By the time she was sworn in, okay, so that's a typo, January 2021, Green reported having moved to Rome, also firmly in the 14th. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. On February 29th, 2020, Green spoke at a Guns Right rally in Little Now, hosted by Silent No Group. a group campaigning to make Walker County and Second Amendment sanctuary. At the rally, she held up a banner for American Patriots USA, a far-right group attempting to further its influence with the Georgia Republicans. Green posed for photos with Chester Doles, a fifth-generation Ku Klux Klansman, Grand Caliph leader, and founder of the APUSA. Doles has nearly a dozen assault arrests and served 2 separate prison sentences in Maryland. Green campaigned as a staunch supporter of President Donald Trump, but was not endorsed by him. She ran, and you noticed that, right? For Boebert's campaign, Trump didn't endorse her. For Green's campaign, Trump didn't endorse her. It wasn't until after the fact when they can galvanize the Trump supporters and basically call out to dear leader, pay attention to me, in which he said, you know what? Sure, why not? That's crazy because Trump supported the opponent of Boebert, when here Trump didn't even care about Green at all. But yet these are the faces of Trump. Well, that's because a larger amount of the constituencies vote for the MTGs and Boeberts. All right. She ran on the slogan, Save American, Stop Socialism. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's go. Let's go. In the days before a primary, Facebook took down a Green video for violating TOS. In the video, Green held an AR-15 style rifle and warned Antifa groups to stay the hell out of Northwest Georgia. Green finished first in the June 9 primary. Trump tweeted a big winner because no candidate received the majority of the vote. She faced a neurosurgeon, John Cowan, a Trump supporter Green labeled a rhino, and in a runoff election. So, again, we're seeing a common pattern with these people, especially when they campaign. And this should be something I'm hoping a lot of their opponents start researching. On July 14th runoff debate, Common questions Taylor Commercial's acceptance of Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, money in relation to Green's opposition to congressional appropriations of relief funds during the pandemic, and also Taylor's commercial donations to Green's political campaign. Taylor's commercials received about $182,300 in the PPP funding from the Small Business Administration during the CV-19 pandemic. SBA filings declared Taylor's commercials expected to save 12 jobs with the funds. Around 2 months after her companies received the PPP loan, Green donated $450,000 from her company to her campaign. Green won the... Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Oh my God. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Green won the August 11th runoff. On the day after her runoff victory, Trump tweeted his support for her, calling her a future Republican star. So now she actually received the endorsement she didn't get at first. Green was considered an overwhelming favorite to win the seat in the general election, as the 14th district typically votes heavily Republican. In 2017, the Cook Political Report ranked the district at the 10th most Republican in the country. All right. A little bit more, then we skim on a bit. Let's see. We know about her scandals. We're not going to sit here and read every single thing about Green, because that's going to be too long and drawn out. Right? I don't want this to be a 4-hour podcast. No, keep saying podcast. I don't want this to be a 4-hour show. So we know about her foreign policy, anti-immigration. We could sum up her about the CV-19 because that was recent. So all you guys should be fresh in your head about what her positioning on it. We know about abortion because that was also recent, especially with the ruling with the Supreme Court's, tying that back into the states and dismantling Roe v. Wade, gutting, women's rights and stuff. Foreign policy, of course, against immigrants. She was with one of the Ku Klux Klan members, one of the leaders of it. Guns rights, you already know. Infrastructure. So she's a businesswoman who owned a construction company, or CFO of a construction company. Let's see her positions on infrastructure. In November 2021, Green said that any Republican who supported the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act was a traitor to our party, a traitor to their voters, and a traitor to our donors. 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 A traitor to our donors.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
She called the $1.2 trillion bill Biden's communist takeover of America. Green criticized the 13 House Republicans who voted for the bill as an American job and energy killer, and derided them as China first and America last. Fred Upton, one of the 13, said that he received over 1,000 calls, including death threats, after Greens publicized their office phone numbers on Twitter. LGBT rights, play to read that to yourself. Race, religion, and immigration, of course. Green opposes the Black Lives Matter movement and called it a Marxist group. In a video, she compared BLM activists to white nationalists participating in the August 2017 Unite the Right rally, Charlottesville, Virginia. As a rally she previously called an inside job. You see how she's tried to equivocate, falsely that matter, two different movements. One movement which in lines with Black Americans, African Americans, standing against police brutality, saying that we need to reform our police. We need to reform or abolish our police. Right? We need to look into that to this particular group of our law enforcement and see if they need more training. If we need to start prosecuting those who commit brutality against our citizenry, especially against African Americans, because they're disproportionately affected by this. Or the Unite the Right rally, which is a whole bunch of dorks and tiki torches running around screaming blood and soil, proposing, the ethno state, and being extremely anti-Semitic, and all their positioning doesn't really help anyone else besides a few selected group of people in terms of like bolstering them as the sort of leader of society. So, and you'll see why. You'll see why she supports that, because now it's an inside job. You could just say she's out racist, flat out racist. You give a fuck. She ended up one of her videos commenting, "The most mistreatment of people in the United States today are white males." After the murder of George Floyd, Green posted on Facebook that his death must be investigated and justice will be served, calling the video heartbreaking. I wonder how fast that flipped. 1 year later, when Derek Chauvin was found guilty of Floyd's murder, Green claimed the verdict was a result of jury intimidation by Black Lives Matter, which she compared to the Ku Klux Klan and called the most powerful domestic terrorist organization in the U.S., and falsely asserted that the Washington, D.C. was completely dead on the night of the verdict because people were scared to go out for fear of riots. Green denounced the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, a civil rights and police reform bill, as an anti-police bill, erroneously claiming that it would bar law enforcement from using facial recognition. So, it just gets more and more and more worse when it comes to MTG. And MTG is also another face of the new right? All right. And we can get further and more into it. School shootings, anti-Semitism, the list goes on. Responses like this. It's crazy. It's lunacy. It's lunacy going through researching MTG, because at first I think it was just like a lunatic just got lucky and decided to run for office and just got her wish. But it turned out that it's looking as if someone is behind this, right? Someone is like making sure that she gets all the dubs that she gets, because this woman does not lose. She does not lose. Anyways, this is her website, and so I wanted to make this to talk about this video at first of about what happened to MTG, because she claimed that she got swatted. So but let's see the video and see what's going on, see what happened to her. All right.
Firebrand Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has been the subject of a
Fair use, by the way. Fair use. All right, Newsmax.
political attack.
You see all this stuff around here? All right, all this stuff means that I can use it. I'm providing commentary. Right? This is transforming the narratives.
Just after 1 a.m., I can't express enough
I hate that
gratitude
shit so
to my
much.
local law enforcement here in Rome, Floyd County. More details to come.
Yeah, and now swatting, commonly defined as the action or practice of making a prank call to emergency services in an attempt to bring about the dispatch of a large number of armed police officers to a particular address. Now, according to the Rome
Now, keep this in mind.
Police Department report, officers responded to a 911 call at 1:03 a.m., which initially led them to believe that a man had been shot multiple times in a bathtub at Green's home.
Wait, wait, what's going on?
But when officers arrived, of course, there wasn't an incident like that at all.
Yeah, and after officers cleared the scene, the department received a call from the actual suspect who claimed responsibility for the false shooting call and explained their motives, reportedly upset over Green's stance on trans rights. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is now here with us to explain exactly what happened last.
What in the fuck? What is going on? What is going on in this country, man? Holy shit! Wait. Okay, I gotta see that document. I have to see that document. What is going on, bro? What is going on? Okay, and you weren't swatted. That's not swatting. It's like Trump, you got hurt, I got hurt. I hurt too, Trump. I hurt too, Trump. I hurt too, okay? They did the same thing to me. Aren't we the same? Could you give me more votes, please? Jesus Christ. Well, let's hear it from the horse's mouth or the titan's mouth, okay?
Last night, Congresswoman, welcome. The lead-in here has to be about last night, ... We kind of set up the story of what happened, but you experienced it, literally a likely rude awakening at 1 a.m. Tell us about it.
Yeah, a very serious and scary awakening. I have to tell you that. And I'm so thankful to the police here in Rome. They were incredible. They were professional. They did their jobs very well. So I was awakened by hearing the doorbell and knocks at the door and hearing.
That's not swatting, though. That's not swatting, bruh. That's not swatting. That's not fucking swatting. That's not fucking swatting. You got a police call. They knocked on your door. They came in. Hey, you all right there? Hey, you okay there? Huh? You all right? You okay? Yeah? We're just checking. That's not swatting. Swatting is... Let me show you what swatting is, all right? Let me show you what swatting is. Let's show you what swatting is.
Have you ever been at one of those parties where you just wanted to? Here are 3 tips on how.
Battery critical.
What?
What the fuck is this shit? I'm so sorry. What the fuck is this shit? This is swatting. This is swatting. This is swatting, okay?
Charging battery.
That's swatting, okay? And let's not get these two like mixed up. Isn't it crazy how that definition changes depending on who's getting swatted? You just have the police come to your door. Maybe there's a little bit more to this. Let's continue.
People outside my bedroom windows. I saw a few lights outside, but they weren't police lights, just a few lights. And I was very concerned, not knowing who was outside my home. Jumped out of the bed, got dressed, and I went to pick up my gun, simply because.
Of course.
Oh, Jesus.
Of course.
I was really afraid of who might be at the door. Obviously in the middle of the night, not expecting anyone. But I just had a gut feeling to leave the gun where it is and not carry it with me. And that's not normal for me. I normally would take it with me to.
So, what this tells me is that she picked up the gun. She knows that, oh shit, police officer sees that I'm answering my door armed, I'm more likely to get shot. Because, you know, these ravenous people, especially in a heavily Republican district or conservative district, they're more inclined to shoot first and ask later. It won't even have to be a conservative district. But you get what I'm saying here, right? Because then you answering the door, a police officer showing up. Of course, she saw the lights. That's a fucking lie. The officers make their presence known. Unlike if you were actually fucking swatted, you know, then they just pull up to you.
The door at all times, especially in that kind of situation. But I'm very, very glad I did not carry my gun to the front door, because when I came around the into the foyer where I've got windows, I saw many police outside on my front porch, and it was a serious situation. Opened the door and spoke with them, and they were asking me if everything was okay, and told me what the 911 call was all about. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. And of course, assured them, no, nothing like that has happened here. Invited them into my house, asked them to look around because I was really scared, and realized.
And then, you know, some things transpire that I'm not going to talk about, you know? You know? Police officers like, oh yeah, come on in. MTG's house? She's so full of shit. Oh yeah, of course. 100%. 100%.
And they also confirmed that yes, it sounds like you've been swatted. And indeed.
What? Oh my god, these are the most coddled people in this fucking country. Oh my god, blonde hair white woman, was it green-eyed white woman. Oh my god. Yeah, police walked in. It looks like you've been swatted. What? Bro, that's not how it works. What? Oh my god, bruh. There's no way. Do you think that she did this or decided to release this story after Biden's announcement of the student loan forgiveness, right? Student debt forgiveness. You think that she's trying to like at least taper off some of the headlines of this important piece of legislation or this important policy that's about to proceed for Americans? She decided, well, too many of these people are getting attention. It's me time, right? It's me time.
That is what happened. Now, here's the very terrifying truth of it. This is how they get people killed. So this person that made this phone call intentionally wanted me to be killed by police officers because they are based. It's like political terrorism. They hate my views and they.
No. No. She was about to say it. You heard it, right? She was about to say it. Why would you think they're out there to get? You're pro blue, right? Thin blue line. Why did you think that they were police officers about to take your life? Huh? She was about to say it, and she corrected herself. Let's watch that again. I do this all the time, but this is a politician here, right? You should think she have all those words down pat. You think there should be a fucking what was it? Teleprompter behind the camera screen that she's talking through, right?
That is what happened. Now, here's the very terrifying truth of it. This is how they get people killed. So this person that made this phone call intentionally wanted me to be killed by police officers because they are based. It's like political.
Thin blue line. These are police officers. Why would they want to delete you? What do you think they do this for? What do you think they decided to send law enforcement to your door? Why didn't they send, someone else? I bet you if it was protesters, right? Protesters. Let's say like a BML protest in front of her door, or protest, or like women protesting in front of her house about her decision to support the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Her line of reasoning would have changed, right? These people are sitting here to delete me because these people are known to be violent. But when it becomes to the certain people she has to pander to, i.e. police, she can't say that because that goes against her whole political positions, or one of her political positions. Is that starting to make sense?
Terrorism. They hate my views and they hate the legislation that I introduced last week, the Protect Children's Innocence Act. And this bill would make it a felony, a Class C felony by federal law, to perform gender-affirming care on children under the age of 18. And this is...
Wait. But no one's doing this to the extent that a bill needs to be introduced. What in the fucking world is going on? They just make up shit and then decide, like, see, this is what I was talking about earlier, right? The one instance of something going on, they're going to hyper focus on this and construct talking points and construct a narrative to state that this is an overall epidemic that's going on in the country. When in actuality, it had been like one or two cases that may have been bad, may have been good, but you wouldn't know because there was not enough data to present that to be an actual issue in this country. So what they do is they reform that into they reform. Well, I already explained it. I'm just going to reiterate myself. You get the idea. Like, that's all it is. They're hyper focused on this one small instance that may have not happened. Most of the time, had not happened. Reframe the narrative and construct talking points to say that this is an epidemic in the country, right? Thus the hyper focusing their constituencies to their actual problems, to their actual material conditions, into something that's something that statistically doesn't really happen. It's not going to happen to them. Something they don't have to care about. Something that they don't have to worry about because it's not about them. It's about others.
A very important piece of legislation because of the mass movement on the left to perform these, life-altering permanent procedures where they are performing mastectomies on teenage girls, castrating teenage boys, hysterectomies, puberty blockers, hormones, very permanent decisions that kids should not be making until they're adults. They need to grow up to make these decisions. But yet this person was so angry at me over this. They wanted me dead, and they sent the police to my house. They told them a lie, and they wasted police resources to come and kill me or my family over their political views. And I'm appalled and disgusted at it.
I'm wondering if you had gotten your gun, because a lot of people certainly would have gotten.
Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's go. Uh-oh, look at her reaction. Oh shit. Please don't ask me a hard question. I'm not prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this hard question. Please don't ask what I think you're about to ask. All right, please ask me something softball. Throw a softball so I could just fucking pander to my cultural war bullshit. Because I'm not intelligent enough to run my own campaign or run my own political positions. Someone else has to orchestrate it for me. I'm just a political puppet. I'm just used to galvanize conspiracy. Not galvanize, to damn, I keep forgetting the word. To shoot off conspiracy theories willy-nilly, and hopefully people can ignore my bullshit.
Gotten into that situation. And then the police officers didn't just break down the front door. It sounds like they were trying to knock first and let you know that they were there. What do you think would have happened? You're carrying the gun. They break down the door, not hearing anything.
Oh, I'm terrified to even think what would have happened. You see, our police here are wonderful. These are the good guys.
Deflection, bruh. Deflection. That's all that was. She didn't answer the goddamn question. She deflected so hard. And saying it was trans person who swatted her just makes the target of all trans people bigger. And she known damn well her followers are already looking for that target. Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head, Pork. Right on the head with that. But you saw that deflection, right? What did you think would happen if you came over, you didn't know there was police and you had a gun in your hand? Well, police are nice people. They wouldn't do anything.
And they take their jobs very seriously. And the 911 call that came in was an extremely serious call that someone had been shot and was in a bathtub, and that there were children in the home, and there was more potential violence that could occur. And that's what the lie was. And that lie was told so that police would come to my house tactically ready, and they were tactically ready. They had their guns drawn. They were prepared for a very bad situation. And if they had seen me come around the corner holding a gun, I'm scared to even think about it. And I'm also terrified to even think What if I wasn't home and that was one of my children? It's too much to think about, and this is real political terrorism, and this is extremely dangerous, and it's happened to other people, not just me. But we cannot allow it to make us stop in our hard work.
I just had an idea. She paints as the person, right? Being a trans person that just like that hated her, disagreed with her policies, and she immediately assumed that this trans person was a leftist. What if the trans person was conservative and hate to see that their parties basically abandoned them and really don't think of them as, you know, as humans, basically, right? And using them and their the issues that they face in this country as just another political talking point, as another boogeyman, another straw man, boogeyman, whatever, that Republicans can galvanize and hate towards. Right? What if that was the case? Huh? You don't know. You immediately assumed it was someone on the left. Okay, that's the wrong button. My fault.
Work is such as important legislation as the Protect Children's Innocence Act, and it won't stop me. And another thing is it will not prevent me from going to the front door armed if I think I need to be. But these are the kinds of things where it's not only is it unfair and it's dangerous for me, but it's also unfair and dangerous for our great men and women in law enforcement that risk their lives when they show up to 911 calls such as that, because not only could a person in the home get killed, so could a police officer. And, you know, they have families too.
Whatever.
So this should be, you know, I believe whoever this is, they should be tried for attempted murder for trying to have
Woo, she go full Karen on this motherfucker. She going full Karen. Oh, homeboy made a new account. That's sad. Oh, man. Vampire, we know it's you. All right. I don't know why. Hilarious. All right. That's hilarious. Goes full Karen.
They should be tried for terrorism. They should be tried to the full extent of the law so that this stops. This has to stop. This political targeting and political terrorism needs to end, and it needs to end now.
Yeah. Also, Congresswoman, it's interesting how your gut just told you to leave your gun in your bedroom. So we're happy that your gut told you that too. But also the police report states something else fairly alarming, that the suspect claims that he or she is connected to this website, which is a site that actually supports cyber stalking. The suspect even gave police their username. So basically, as you pointed out.
No. Or no. Come on. You believe that? Do you believe that? Do you believe if you're making a false 911 call to get someone swatted, do you believe you're going to give all that information up right up front? Do you believe that? Or if there's someone that basically was paid to do this, that's told to do this, so that she can basically galvanize more fervor against the LGBTQIA plus community? Think about that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? If you really wanted to harm this person, would you really give out that information? Or would you give out false information? Basically, oh my God. Oh man.
This is a suspect admitted to intending to do harm via...
and then the police responded to that report. Think about that. And they responded to this report. I'm calling bullshit. We need Trump prayer time.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Inshallah. All right.
Cyber stalking, you said you fully want to, prosecute whomever did this, and I'm assuming that suspect is still at large, right?
Yes, there's an investigation underway, and there's an even investigation into whether that's really the person that did this. But isn't it concerning that such a website exists? Like, why does that even exist? That website needs to be taken down. There should be no business or any kind of service where you can target your enemy. That's absolutely absurd. And this is the type of lawlessness that Democrats want all over the country.
Free speech? Free speech? But you were a free speech absolutist. Right? It's just doing their free speech, right? Is KF notorious for doxing trans people and such bullshit? Seems like a bit backwards for them. Yeah, I think it was orchestrated. I think it was set up. Look, Alex. Take it away, Alex.
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
It doesn't seem... Oh, good God, 3 hours. None of this seems legitimate at all. It's just like her political career. It seems a bit orchestrated. It seems like there's someone, behind the scenes, making sure that all these things happen to her and all happen to her so she can bolster her presence, right?
The Democrats are the party of defund the police, which has created crime that is going out of control all over the country. But it's also failure of our government and failure of our law enforcement to not take down a website like that. Like, all of these types of groups need to be completely eradicated.
So canceled, right? I thought we were against cancel culture. Only when... Okay.
They should not be allowed to exist. They should not be able to abuse police resources like that. And police officers, we need more police officers. We don't have enough right now. They need to be able to respond to traffic accidents as real emergencies, and to calls where they've got to save someone's life, not be part of a prank or a potential, way to kill someone. So, that has to end.
Interesting. Who cares? I thought exactly. No, let's show more replies. No thanks. I'm sure you're happy. Snap up some headlines. Are you a crisis actor? Let me switch to a larger format. Interesting. Drama queen. Literally no one cares. False flag event. Sounds kind of gross. Hear the full story on Newsmax. If we've learned anything over the last 6 years, is when you want to hear the real story, you watch Newsmax. The radical left Democrats want to defund the police. It's disgusting. We are the party of law and order. How it started. How it's going. Defund the police. Interesting. Makes more sense. Make it make sense. Oh, man. Wow. Don't care. Throw whoever did this in jail and prosecute. I'm glad you were not injured. She doesn't care if you are. Did this happen? No. No, but in yellow. This is starting to feel like a Jussie Smollett. Interesting. Are you going to have the FBI investigate or... It seems like this is a problem for the FBI, don't it? Jesus. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, the majestic cow was hilarious. Usually I like the people just come back in just because they were ignored and banned on these streams, this show. No one has time for that nonsense, okay? Take that somewhere else. Let's go bother someone else. Right here, you just get banned. Right? Long gone are the days that I become tolerant in most of you people. Yes, you people. Because you guys are just, you don't offer anything of value, anything of substance. While I'm sitting here, and while the people watching me sitting here, going through the ringer of these streams, of this 3-hour long show, which I should wrap up, they're providing value. They're worth it. And the people who are watching afterwards, you guys are worth it as well. All right, let's see. All right. So, we talked about the history of Marjorie Taylor Greene. We looked at some of her positions. We can ignore her website. I'll post that website as a link for this stream, this chapter. We looked at Lauren Boebert. We looked at Laura Loomer. Ref. We hit a whole host of content. We took a deeper dive instead of just the surface level politics that a lot of people like to play on. we could keep saying this. And then now, let's see the results. Well, first, let's see what something crazy that Laura Loomer said. Right? Let's see some of the results of this new age conservatism. And with that, there is a YouTube channel called Right Wing Watch Blog, right? And that's all they do. I don't know how they do it and keep a sane mind, but they watch all the crazy stuff that the right has to say about anything. And this gives us a glimpse into what the newer age conservative types masquerade and state to their viewers, right? It's never about problem, solution, resolution. It's always problem onto problem onto problem, and then a solution always being something that causes more problem. But this is something crazy Laura Loomer says, so let's just have fun with this.
I have this kind of a blessing, but it's also a curse, where I'm able to see things coming years ahead of when they actually happen, right? And of course, that's when people call you a conspiracy theorist, because they say, oh, that's so crazy, that's never going to happen. And I knew that big tech was going to try to steal the election in 2020. And people said I was nuts. I knew they were going to ban Donald Trump. People said I was nuts. And I felt like I had to run for office in order to make a difference, because I don't see anybody in the party doing anything to stop this, you know? I'm not saying that I'm a psychic, but I am saying that there are people who do, have abilities, right? I mean, it's called prophecy. I'm not saying that I'm a prophet, but what I am saying is that everything that I've predicted has happened. Everything that I said was going to happen has come true. And so perhaps people should listen to what I say, because I have a pretty strong batting record.
So I say this as well. I say that when I speculate, oftentimes, and oftentimes when I speculate upon things, that future comes to fruition. But I say like 80%. I say this myself. I'm not gonna not get out myself for saying this. I probably should slow down saying it too, and just watch the future unfold. But the difference between when I say something, when I'm being like, when I say it, when they say it, they believe themselves to be prophetic. They believe themselves to, know the future, calling themselves psychics about what's going on in our political process. And anything could be further from the truth. Oftentimes when they say this, it's more of them reflecting upon hindsight and not really like standing firm with their speculation. So, they wouldn't say these particular things out in the public to basically be hold for public opinion and to be scrutinized if they're wrong, or, how do I say this? Scrutinized if they're wrong, or shown to be right, and people can be like, oh, you did predict that. That's cool. I applaud people who do that, because, you're sticking your neck out there. But most of the time, things happen, and then they'll come out later on saying, like, oh yeah, I could predict the future because I said all this stuff was going to happen. Look what happened. There was a time where Bernie Sanders also did the same thing, political process, and it happened exactly how I said. It was kind of crazy about how the mail-in voting was going to happen. So here's another consequences of this new age conservatism. They see themselves to be prophetic, right? They see themselves to be more important. They hyper focus on themselves. Like I said in the beginning, they see themselves as the protagonists of this country, as the protagonists of this planet, that they must take it upon themselves to save everyone else, and they're so-called sacrificing themselves. But let's see another consequence of what happens with this new age conservative, this new wave of conservative people. I don't want to do that one. I just cut those two off. I had a video, but I cut those two off. Anyways, this is another thing that happens as well. These same people that they want to. The only way you can save others is to. The other way you see yourself as a protagonist, and the only way you can save others is if you have a villain. I did this on the previous chapter. I explained this a little bit more in detail. If you wanted and more further explanation on that, watch chapter 8. It's much shorter than this one. But they say themselves fighting evil, fighting the villains, because they are the saviors. This is this is in line with it to a higher degree now with the newer age conservatism. Listen.
Environmentalists are crazy. They are more fanatical than Al Qaeda. In Europe, they're the reason why Germany is dependent on Russia for its energy, because they shut down energy independence. We had full spectrum energy dominance under Donald Trump. The first thing that Biden did was he shut it down. We've got the ability to have our own gas and oil from Pennsylvania to Texas to Alaska, but we're going with our hat in our hand to Saudi Arabia to ask for help because the environmentalist people are crazy. They're under the control of demons, I'm telling you. And Biden and these politicians are under the control of them.
They're under the control of demons. So now you painted your villains. Your villains are the left. And not only are they villains, are they like, they're not villains in the sense that they're not stifling any progress, but they're overall evil. They're demons. So what this does is this galvanizes a lot of these new age conservatives. I want to say Christian, but new age conservatives. I guess we could say new age Christians too, but that lights up, they put the battery on their back. They lights a fire under their ass, right? And they're more likely to commit acts of violence against the very same constituents and or people they deem as what it was like foes, right? So let's wrap this up in a neat little bow. Oh, where are you at? Oh, that's not the one I wanted to pull up. So, and I'm gonna end this chapter with this, right? These two, we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, represent a new mode of conservatism. Conservatism that's found in misdirection, misjudgment, mismanagement, misuse, misogyny, misandry, and often layered with misunderstanding. Lauren and Marjorie are loud enough to project their feelings of the new right, new in the sense of mainstream attention. Their part of the right has always been there. They often refer to themselves as the silent majority, but nothing could be further from the truth. These two hold one of the highest offices a person could ever achieve and have a social media presence that can't be ignored. We saw Lauren Boebert, we saw MTG, 1.5 million followers on Twitter. It's extremely, extremely difficult to achieve. Every chance that they get, they show up on any platform with a big enough presence. This is just keeping that clout festering, right? That clout farm going, that clout machine going. Yeah, clout machine going. No one really is canceling them, right? No one really is canceling them. We saw the video, basically Marjorie MTG saying that there was an attempt on her life, which could be further from the truth. All this is being exacerbated to the umpteenth degree, and so they can say that their extreme positions are not so much extreme. My position is that we should seek to silence them when they spread this dangerous ideas found upon lies, but we should not seek to silence them. Sorry. My position is that we should not seek to silence them when they spread their dangerous ideas found upon lies, but we should bombard them with the campaign of truth, right? The new conservatives aren't going anywhere, the new conservatives aren't going anywhere, but they are currently trying to regroup and find another win to spread the reality of the country and of the world. That being, they're looking for another head figure that basically can take their positions to the extreme and publish that to the mainstream, right? Someone like a Trump or whatever, but even more extreme if they show up anytime soon. I can't predict what the future holds for this group, but I can damn sure say things are looking bleak, and an escalation of violence from the group will become more drastic. Like I said, it's going to be, and this is where I'm going to stand on my speculation that these groups and these people are going to turn more and more to drastic measures of violence, just to kick and scream and hold that their reality holds any volition of what we all can recognize as the facts of our own reality, right? They live in their own fantasy, I should have put it, right? And that fantasy is going against our own reality. You can see the large amount of times that they often lean on conspiracies, because conspiracies really don't have to be evidence, right? It just has to be a great story told, something that sounds good, something that sounds like it correlates with one another. And that is the case to be with these New Age conservatism. And with that being said, that wraps up chapter 9. I like my Boebert Green, the new look into the New Age conservatism. Basically, a case study of these two and a few others, I guess, politicians and people looking to seek political positions. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. A Trump prayer.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
All right, look at that. Look at that. Another one on the books. Another chapter read through and flipped over. Now this one was one of my longest ones. So I don't know if people are gonna stand by and watch 3 hours of it. But if you do, hit that like, hit that follow. You know? My goal is to like refine the show as much as possible. You know, we're gonna rely more, but a bit more on the entertainment, and also, like I said, it's interactive. So your name will be written down in content history, except for those who get banned. Bye bye. Whew. All right. Oh man, I deleted all my. Okay. As per se, I'm gonna work on this on the YouTube side. Put all my links and all that stuff. Put all the timestamps on YouTube. So give that some time because I'm doing it. This is a one-man show for now. But for those looking for the timestamps, that's gonna be there too. On the Twitch side, you guys missed out on a large chunk of it. So if you want, hop over to that YouTube channel and watch the parts that you didn't get to catch. And hopefully you get to catch when we started with Boebert. Then things got juicier and juicier. As always, it's the warm up to the final climax, and now we're winding down. Okay, so let's end how we started. What is the political black pill? Due to the inevitable outcomes of this socially parasitic, hyper-capitalistic system ruled by the malignant narcissist elite, we have no choice than to be fatalistic with news and political developments of the world. The political black pill is not a nihilistic philosophy. I am redefining it to be more pessimistic because we haven't changed at the speed necessary and now the planet is fighting back. We're optimistic of a select few people out there fighting back and or have the potential to. You see, this current political system and the media pundits, whatever, whether independent or mainstream, love it when you bend the knee. We say don't do it. You're free to vote or not. You're free to be active or not. This is not a philosophy against activism. Unless your activism is to maintain the status quo and or repackaging fascism. Then, in that case, you're definitely going to be cooked. This show is set up to be an interaction with why the chapters. The chapter is organized to show that the various topics being discussed and or revisited. Also, the show is set up to be an interactive with you guys. So forgive us if we ramble off from time to time. So, as always, I would say, and when this would say, pull up your lawn chair and watch the car crash with us in the political black pill, and I am GXG. But now we're coming to the end of the show, and as always, I'm going to leave you with a positive note, a positive message. So give me a second to think about that positive message. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? Finding a positive message every single time, right after we basically look at all this news and the things we're visiting here. Positive message. Let's see. Positive message. I should write down the positive messages after every chapters. Add that to the list of things to optimize the show. Hey, we're only on chapter 9, so if it seems kind of fumbly, it seems a little bit too long. This is where you come in. This is like, hey, why don't you talk about this? Or hey, this is a good topic. Hey, this is something that I would like to see. Hey, those sensational topics. Maybe you should do some chapters on that just to get some people riled up of what's going on. Maybe, but just keep the larger context there. The larger context there. Topic. Look positive. Bruh. Why is YouTube doing this right now? All right. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep fighting for your dreams. Don't give up. Don't let the inevitable outcomes of the future make you give up of what can be your future. If today you have to put your head to the floor, stick your nose to the floor, and grind it out and work hard as you can to make a reality for yourself, then do so. Make a positive reality for you to do so. Here we believe that you're more than capable than what you think you are. If anything, you should strive to what you dream to be, right? And we're cheering you on. All right, my name is GXG. Again, this wraps up the chapter 9 on the books. As always, stay classy. I might come back from gaming. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. This is a long stream, so. Whew.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
But the choice between the blue and the red pill is not really a choice between illusion and reality. Of course, Matrix is a machine for fictions, but these are fictions which already structure our reality. If you take away from our reality the symbolic fictions that regulate it, you lose reality itself.